Hey everybody, it's me, Nick Canino, and I'm on my alternate account since my other one has been like been out for a while, so that's why I'm using this one. But welcome to my first ever podcast on a new alternate channel. I'm your host Nick Canino, and alongside with me is a special guest of mine. He's been with me ever since January. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Alex Meyer, and today I am your guide to all of the major movies of the fall movie season, some of which you've heard of, some of which you may not have heard of, some of which you're really looking forward to, and some of which you plan to avoid at all costs. And we are here today to give you a thorough, in-depth preview of all these movies. And to quote Jerome Latimer, I have a plethora of notes. I have 14 pages of notes here, ladies and gentlemen. Movies we're going to talk about, but we're not going to go give a huge in-depth analysis over each of them. We're going to try and make the preview short and sweet. We're not going to spend too much time discussing them.
Right.
So what I'll basically do is just say the name of the movie, the cast, and the basic plot summary, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
So the way this will work, we'll start off with the movies coming out at the beginning of September, and then we'll end with the movies coming out at the end of December. So
Okay.
so we start off with September 2nd, and the first film coming out that day is Morgan. This is a science fiction film directed by Ridley Scott's son, Luke Scott. It stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Kate Mara, Toby Jones, Michelle Yeoh, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Paul Giamatti. And the basic plot summary, according to IMDb, is this: a corporate risk management consultant must decide whether or not to terminate an artificially created humanoid being. So it's a sci-fi artificial intelligence movie.
Yeah, I heard of this, and I did see the trailer for this, and I'm sort of mixed on this because the trailers were kind of mediocre, but I'm still willing to give this movie a chance.
Same here. And the next is The Light Between Oceans. This is directed by Derek Cianfrance, who previously directed Blue Valentine and The Place Beyond the Pines. Um, it's it stars Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander, and Rachel Weisz. And what the story is there's a couple who run a lighthouse on an island off the coast of Australia. They've been trying to have children, but they've been unable to. The wife keeps having miscarriages. And then one day, out of nowhere, this boat washes ashore with a baby inside, and they decide to keep this baby and unofficially adopt her rather than report her missing to the authorities on the mainland. The problem is the baby's mother, biological mother, played by Rachel Weisz, is still alive on the mainland, who is searching for her daughter. And how the baby goes missing, I'm not going to spoil that because I have read the book this movie is based on, so I won't say anything about that. But then we get into the conflict, the overall conflict of, do Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander, do they keep this baby, or do they ultimately give her back to her mother? That's kind of the overall conflict this movie has, and we see how it affects Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander's, how it affects their characters' marriage, because she wants to keep the baby, he wants to give her back.
Yes, I'm actually looking forward to it. Even though I'm hearing some mixed reviews from critics who saw it, and but I'm still looking forward to this one. I'm hoping it won't be as like melodramatic as like some Nicholas Sparks movies.
Well, having read the book, I can assure you it doesn't go too deep into Nicholas Sparks territory.
Right.
But the cinematography, at least from what I've seen in the trailer, is absolutely stunning.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the final film coming out September 2nd is Yoga Hosers.
Yeah, I heard of this movie. Oh
Okay,
goodness.
folks, let me just read the IMDb plot summary, and I kid you not, this is the IMDb plot summary word for word. Set in the Great White North of Canada, Yoga Hosers tells the story of Colleen Collette and Colleen Mackenzie, two teenage besties, yes, they use the word besties, from Winnipeg who spend their lives doing yoga with their faces in their phones, liking or not liking the real world around them. But when these sophomore girls are invited to a senior party by the school hottie, the Colleens accidentally uncover an ancient evil long buried beneath the Manitoba earth. I can only imagine what Jerome would be thinking if he were reading that or listening to that.
Yeah, I can only imagine. This movie looks so ridiculous and so weird that in
And it's directed by Kevin Smith, and it stars Kevin Smith alongside Johnny Depp, Kevin Smith's daughter Harley Quinn Smith, Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter. They play the two teenage girls. And also stars Ashley Greene, Tyler Posey, Tony Hale, Haley Joel Osment, Jason Mewes, Kevin Conroy. Yes, that Kevin Conroy, the Batman Kevin Conroy, and Stan Lee. Yes, Marvel Stan Lee. And folks, get ready for this, and you'll either love this or hate this based on how much you loved or hated Kevin Smith's last movie, Tusk. Johnny Depp is reprising his character from Tusk.
oh Christ.
I have not seen Tusk, so I can't say anything about it.
Tusk was okay. I would give it like 3 out of 5 stars. Not a great movie, but not a bad movie. Just man. You know what
Kevin,
the thing? You know what the thing is? The thing is, I actually enjoyed some of Kevin Smith's words, such as excuse me, such as Clerks and Dogma. But then Cop Out came out, and that was a piece of garbage. Wait, as WWE fan 0599 says it, garbage. And Tusk I felt was okay.
Kevin Smith himself said Tusk is like Misery meets the Human Centipede. Is he right?
uh, I think so. I think it's like that.
All right. Well, I mean, but we have a lot more movies to get to, so let's move on. We move on to September 9th. Now, this next movie was shoehorned literally in at the last minute. The Disappointments Room.
I heard about this.
Yeah, originally, this is a film from Relativity Media, the studio that underwent bankruptcy last year. They were supposed to be playing their long delayed film Before I Wake on this day, but instead they took that out and they have not yet found a new release date for it. And they put in this movie because they say Before I Wake deserves a better release date, which means they don't have a lot of faith in this movie. And the plot summary, this is the plot summary from IMDb. A mother and her young son release unimaginable horrors from the attic of their rural dream home. Yeah, that doesn't sound very original.
That's just really dumb.
The only the only high profile cast member in it is Kate Beckinsale. And if this movie is bad, then that'll be a deep shame because earlier this year she gave out what I thought was an Oscar worthy performance in the movie Love and Friendship.
One of my favorite movies of the year. Absolutely a terrific movie.
Mm-hmm. But it's not just that. We have another horror slash thriller film coming out on September 9th, When the Bow
Oh,
Breaks.
oh, ugh.
Okay, folks, for those of you who've never heard of this movie, let me describe the plot to you from IMDb. John and Laura Taylor, played by Morris Chestnut and Regina Hall, are a young professional couple who desperately want a baby. After exhausting all their options, they finally hire Anna, played by Jazz Sinclair,
Oh,
the perfect woman to be their surrogate. But as she gets further along in her pregnancy, so too does her psychotic and dangerous fixation on the husband. The couple becomes caught up in Anna's deadly game and must fight to regain control of their future before it's too late. Yeah, this is basically a Fatal Attraction slash The Hand That Rocks the Cradle ripoff.
exactly. Just like that.
Uh,
And to make matters worse, this is by the same studio that did No Good Deed and and The Perfect Guy, one of the absolute cheesiest movies I've ever seen in my own freaking
like,
life.
oh my, I was so ridiculous and over the top. Like in The Perfect Guy, he kidnaps her cat so that he can watch her on these secret surveillance cameras he installed.
Just how unrealistic is that? You can see why this was on my worst list last year.
But when she got revenge on him, that was cool.
I will admit that was actually pretty cool, but still, just oh, hated that movie. It was one of the worst movies I've seen from last year.
Yeah. All right. Next up on the list is Sully. This is of course this is of course the story of the pilot Chelsea Sullenberger, or Sully as he's known, and how he was forced to land his plane on the Hudson River when it suffered engine failure. And then it's about the subsequent investigation that happens when they try to analyze whether or not that was the right decision for him to have made. And Clint Eastwood is directing, and Tom Hanks stars as Sully, and other cast members include Aaron Eckhart, Anna Gunn, and Laura Linney.
I'm really looking forward to this. I love Clint Eastwood. His last film, American Sniper, sorry folks, was overrated, but I'm I'm real I'm I bet this will redeem Clint Eastwood from American Sniper. And because this looks like another great Oscar contender film, in my opinion. The fact that Tom Hanks is in this movie, count me in.
Amen, because Tom Hanks is one of my 10 favorite actors of all time. I have
Same
never
here.
seen him give a bad performance.
Same
And he
here.
just seems like an all and I hear he's just one of the most all-around nice guys you'll ever meet. In fact, I once read this article that said Tom Hanks was once voted number one as the most trusted male celebrity in America.
That's
Betty
a
White was the most Betty White got the most trusted female celebrity vote.
oh jeez.
You don't like Betty White?
No, I like Betty White.
Oh, as I just said, Tom Hanks was the most liked male celebrity in America. Betty White was the most liked female celebrity.
Okay, that made sense.
I was like, who can hate Betty White?
I was just kidding. I was just kidding.
All right. And then next up, I remember seeing a trailer for this movie and I thought, what the hell is this? The Wildlife.
That movie, you'll see that on my why I refuse to watch list very soon because oh god, I saw the trailer back in April at the screening of my of the Jungle Book, and I was like, what?
So,
What?
folks, this is basically what The Wildlife is, and I kid you not. It's a retelling of the classic story Robinson Crusoe from the perspective of a parrot and like other island animals. It
If you
just
think we're
looks
kidding, we're if you think we're kidding, we're not. It's real.
no. I mean, folks, I wouldn't believe it myself if I hadn't seen the trailer with my own eyes.
Exactly.
It just looks so dumbed down to the point where it looks like Dora the Explorer has better storytelling than this movie.
Yeah, that movie. I have no interest in reviewing. I have no interest in seeing. You'll see that on my why I refuse to watch list because honestly, it's just honestly, I suffered through Norm of the North this year. One of the very worst movies that I've seen this year.
Yeah, and this film was actually made in Belgium with Belgian actors, and it's got an English dub, but there's no recognizable English names in the dub cast.
Yeah, I don't recognize any of these actors at all.
Right. Okay. Now we move on to September 16th, and the first film is Blair Witch.
That movie I'm forward to because I love the Blair Witch Project. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, one of my all-time favorite horror movies, I should say. And the fact that it's a secret sequel to the first Blair Witch Project, I'm like, count me in. And I don't like horror found footage movies because the last time I saw some of the found footage horror movies were The Gallows and Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, and Unfriended. They were some of the worst movies I've seen last year, and that made me hate found footage horror movies even more. But this one actually looks really good.
Right, and this film was actually called The Woods on IMDb for a long time until it was revealed at Comic-Con that it's actually a sequel to the Blair Witch Project.
That's
And
what I heard as well.
and this is the plot summary from IMDb for that film. After discovering a video showing what he believes to be his sister's experiences in the demonic woods of the Blair Witch, James and a group of friends head to the forest in search of his lost sibling. And like the Blair Witch Project, this movie features a cast of unknown actors. So I don't know any of these people when I looked it up on IMDb, and we'll see how big of how big of stars they'll be when this movie comes out.
I'm actually hearing a lot of good things right now from Rotten Tomatoes. Like so far, like a lot of critics have been I've been hearing some great reviews of this movie.
Hmm. All right, well, that's definitely very encouraging.
Yeah,
All right, so next up, this is some people are really going to love the idea of this movie, others are going to hate it. Bridget Jones's Baby.
I'm one of those people that's gonna hate it because I really love the first movie. I love the first movie. It was really funny, and it was really riveting and endearing. Second movie was okay, but this one, time to add another one of those unnecessary remakes and
Well,
suck.
it's a sequel, not a remake.
Oh yeah, sequel. I forgot. Sequel. Time to add this into my unnecessary sequel list. Check.
So yes, what this film is about is Renee Zellweger returns as her iconic role of Bridget Jones, and Bridget Jones is still single, and she starts dating Mark Darcy, played by Colin Firth again. Years, and then she starts dating this guy named, I think his name is Jack, played by Patrick Dempsey. So she dates both guys at the same time. She finds out she's pregnant, but she has no idea who the father is. So because she has no idea, she lets both men think they're the father.
Yeah, this movie looks really stupid.
And Emma Thompson is also in this movie as Bridget Jones's obstetrician.
No, oh Christ.
All right. Next, now Nick and I have had debates about this film. Now I'm not saying this film is automatically going to be bad, but I'm hesitant about it because I don't agree with the director's personal political views, and the subject of the film is a man I don't necessarily consider to be a hero, Snowden.
That movie, yeah, we disagreed over this one because I'm actually looking forward to this movie. Like it's my most anticipated film of September, just because the cast looks amazing. I actually like most of Oliver Stone's work except for Alexander and Uter. Other than that, I'm actually looking forward to it.
Now, Oliver Stone has made many great movies in the past. That's not my problem. I don't like how Oliver Stone likes to use conspiracy theories and present them as fact, which is why I don't like the movie JFK. I don't
That's
like
un-
how it. I don't like how
That's
it presents
understandable, man.
because historians have debunked the theory that there was a huge conspiracy to kill Kennedy. There's enough proof to suggest Lee Harvey Oswald was acting alone.
Mm.
But with this movie, my fear is Oliver Stone is going to try to use this movie to say to the audience, if you don't think Edward Stone is a hero, then you're a terrible person. Basically, I think that basically my fear is that this movie will kiss up to Edward Snowden without looking at both sides of this whole issue. I'm not saying, you know, I don't want the NSA spying on me 24/7, but I think for Edward Snowden to leak the information and then flee to Russia without really standing up for himself, in my opinion, that's being a coward.
I can understand that.
Because look at the movie The Insider, where Russell Crowe played real life whistleblower Jeffrey Wiegand, who exposed big tobacco. Jeffrey Wiegand, yeah, he faced things like death threats and everything, and I think there was even once a, a homemade bomb was put in his mailbox or something. I forget, but at least Jeffrey Wiegand stayed and fought back to expose what he found. He didn't run away and hide in another country.
Right, right.
So it's because of that, you know, it's not because of the actors themselves that I'm hesitant about the film, but rather about what I fear Oliver Stone might be trying to do in terms of the film's message. Because Oliver Stone likes to pound in his political views to the point where you're like, okay, I'll agree with you if you just stop talking about it. I hate people who do that.
I understand, man. I understand, but
I mean,
I'm actually looking forward to it. So
right. But anyway, the cast of this movie, it is very good. You have Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Edward Snowden, and the rest of the cast includes Shailene Woodley, Zachary Quinto, Timothy Oliphant, Nicolas Cage. No, that's not a joke. He really is in this movie. Scott Eastwood, Logan Marshall Green, Reese Ifans, Jolie Richardson, Tom Wilkinson, and Parker Sawyers.
yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. As I said.
All right. Now we move on to September 23rd. And folks, some people may be looking forward to this movie, but I'm not. This movie looks stupid as hell.
No,
Storks.
you're not alone on this one, Alex. This movie looks really stupid. And here's the thing: I saw the teaser trailer back last year, and I thought, okay, the teaser looks like it could be a cute movie. But then I saw the full trailer, and it was a disaster. It was a disaster. Like, oh my goodness, it looks really bad.
I can't remember what movie I saw this in front of. It might have been Finding Dory, or maybe The Jungle Book. But anyway, I had to watch the trailer in the theater, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
I
So
was thinking the same.
let me let me just read the plot right here so you can understand just how ridiculous this movie sounds. Storks deliver babies, or at least they used to. Now they deliver packages for global internet giant cornerstore.com. Junior, the company's top delivery stork, is about to be promoted when he accidentally activates the baby making machine, producing an adorable and wholly unauthorized baby girl. Desperate to deliver this bundle of trouble before the boss gets wise, Junior and his friend Tulip, the only human on Stork Mountain, race to make their first ever baby drop in a wild and revealing journey that could make more than one family whole and restore the stork's true mission to the world. You see, I can't even keep a straight face reading that.
just, just how ridiculous is that? I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it's clear they made this movie just to entertain 5-year-olds.
Oh, people love it. And I
Let me
know some
list.
people. I know it's just some people are gonna be like, "Oh, no, well, Nick, this movie's made for kids. This movie's not made for you." Well, here's the thing. We had some great animated films that are made for all ages. Like look at Inside Out. Look at the Lego Movie. Look at Big Hero 6. And and look at this year. Look at this year. We had Zootopia, and we have my favorite animated film of the year, Kubo and the Two Strings. Those are great animated films for kids and adults alike.
Right. I wonder if when this movie comes out, if the YouTuber Animat from the channel Electric Dragon 505, I wonder if he'll give it his Animat seal of garbage.
I have watched his videos. My favorite part when he gives movies the animat seal of garbage was when he plays that Sonic the Hedgehog game over mute.
Right. Um, okay, but folks, get a load of the cast members of Storks. This is who they got to be in this movie. Kelsey Grammer, Jennifer Aniston, Keegan-Michael Key,
Oh,
Jordan Peele, Danny Trejo, and Ty Burrell.
oh my goodness! All these casts in one ridiculous plot.
And
Okay,
you know who directs this movie? Nicholas Stoller, the guy who directed Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Get Him to the Greek. He wrote The Muppets and Muppets Most Wanted, and he directed Neighbors 1 and 2.
yeah, I heard of this guy. I really enjoyed the first Neighbors movie. Neighbors 2 was, and you know what, screw it. I enjoyed Neighbors 2, despite some major flaws I have with the film. I love Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Get Him to the Greek was okay. I did laugh. There was some very funny moments, but I just thought it was, eh.
Right, and then also coming out on that day is The Magnificent Seven.
That movie I'm actually looking forward to. Usually I don't like remakes, but this one actually has some potential to actually be good since it's directed by Antoine Fuqua, who directed Training Day, and he directed last year one of my most underrated films of last year, which was Southpaw.
Right, and so this film is a remake of the classic 1960 Western, which itself is a remake of the Japanese film The Seven Samurai, but it's got an excellent cast, though. It's got playing the Magnificent Seven are Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke, Chris Pratt, Vincent D'Onofrio, Byung Hun Lee, Manuel Garcia Rulfo, and Martin Sandsmeyer.
Yeah, the cast alone looks really good.
In the cast in like other roles. You have Peter Sarsgaard, Haley Bennett, and Matt Bomer.
Yeah,
And coming out on the same day in limited release, and I have a feeling they're going to try to push this as an awards contender, The Dressmaker.
yeah, I heard of this movie.
So this is the plot summary. A glamorous woman returns to her small town in rural Australia with her her sewing machine and haute couture style. She transforms the women and exacts sweet revenge on those who did her wrong. And the cast includes Kate Winslet, Liam Hemsworth, Hugo Weaving, and Judy Davis.
Yeah, I actually heard of this movie, and I'm really curious to see what to do with that movie.
I mean, I'm really excited for it because Kate Winslet's one of my favorite actresses, and you know, she Oscar voters just love her in almost anything she does. So chances are they'll keep a close eye out for this one.
Yeah,
Okay, and then the final film from September 23rd, Queen of Katwe.
yeah, it's supposed to be heading for limited theaters on September 23rd before they push it for a nationwide release on September 30th.
Hmm. And this is basically the plot summary of that film. A young girl, excuse me, from Uganda, world chess champion. And the stars include Lupita Nyong'o, David Oyelowo, and a newcomer named Medina Nalwanga. She plays the chess champion.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. Really want to see what they do with that movie.
And Disney is the one making that, distributing that film, by the way, which is interesting because they don't usually make films about chess, but it looks really good, and
Yeah, it does.
I really love Lupita Nyong'o and David Oyelowo. I think they're great actors. So
Yeah, and they were in some of my favorite films from 2013, 2014, which the Lupita Nyong'o won an Academy Award for 12 Years a Slave, my favorite movie of 2013. And David
well
or
deserved.
what?
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Yeah, I agree. Um, and then David or Yellow, I think.
Oyelowo.
Oh, Yellow. Thank you. Was in Selma, one of my top four favorites from 2014. I love that film very much, and he was fantastic as Martin Luther King Jr. Even though I was happy to see you get nominated for
Mhm.
Best Picture, just why Oscars? Why did you have to be that racist?
Well, I think in Selma's case, they didn't market it, they didn't promote it heavily enough. I don't know. That is an interesting thing because they released it so late in the year to try and catch up on everything that they didn't really build it up enough.
That's a
So
shame.
yeah, well, but but at least the movie itself, it stands on its praise that it's gotten, which is ultimately the most important thing that you can do with it.
Most importantly, it was one of my favorite movies of 2014. Even though it came out in January 2015 for a nationwide release, I still consider it a 2014 release.
Mm. All right, now we got to move on to September 30th. So
Right.
we move from a really good-looking film like Queen of Katwe to this is probably my least anticipated film of the fall. I have despised this trailer every time I've been forced to watch it in the theater.
I know what it
Masterminds.
is. Ah, that movie. I like Jared Hess. I really enjoyed Napoleon Dynamite. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. But my God, this movie. What was he thinking?
Yeah. Yes, he's right, folks. This movie is indeed directed by Jared Hess, the director of Napoleon Dynamite, one of my all-time favorite films. And if you haven't seen the trailer, just let me read the IMDb plot summary. Discovers the true meaning of adventure far beyond his wildest dreams. He is an uncomplicated man stuck in a monotonous life. Day in and day out, he drives an armored vehicle transporting millions of other people's money with no escape in sight. The only glimmer of excitement is his flirtatious work crush, Kelly Campbell, who soon lures him into the scheme of a lifetime. Along with a group of half-brained criminals led by Steve Chambers and an absurdly faulted heist plan, David manages the impossible and makes off with $17 million in cash. Only problem is he foolishly hands the money over to this wild group of double-crossers and has been set up to take the fall. With the bandits blowing the millions on lavish and ridiculous luxuries, they leave behind a glaring trail of evidence. Now on the lam and in over his head, David must dodge the authorities, even a hilarious hitman, Mike McKinney, and try to turn the tables on the ones he trusted most. Rest of this movie, whose talents look like they're being wasted across the board, include Zach Galifianakis, Kristen Wiig, Owen Wilson, Jason Sudeikis, Leslie Jones, and Kate McKinnon.
No, just just no, just no. It looks awful. Like it would have been my least anticipated film of September if it wasn't for When the Boat Breaks, because I think that movie. We may have our disagreements, Alice, but it's just like this that movie.
I honestly fear that this movie could be as bad as Dirty Grandpa or The Brothers Grimsby, in which I would have to give it a 0 out of 10.
I even if it is like I have a feeling that it might be a zero, but it's uncertain if it is a zero. It's uncertain if it will be as bad as Norman and North for Mother's Day, but even if it is even if it is horrendous, it might be worse than Mother's Day, but not really as dreadful as like Norman the North.
Mm. I haven't seen Norm of the North, so I can't say. So
No,
moving
Norm in the
on.
North. Don't even bother seeing that movie. No.
Moving on, next up is Deepwater Horizon. This, of course, tells the story of how the Deepwater Horizon suffered a massive breach and caused the largest oil spill in American history, causing $20 billion worth of damage. Peter Berg, who directed Friday Night Lights, Battleship, and Deepwater Horizon. I mean, excuse me, not Deepwater Horizon, Lone Survivor.
It's fine.
Yeah. And the cast includes Mark Wahlberg, Kate Hudson, Dylan O'Brien, Gina Rodriguez, Kurt Russell.
I'm looking forward to it. It's just like because the trailer I'm actually really interested to see what they do with that film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks solid. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And then next up is an adaptation of a very popular book for the last few years, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
I'm looking forward to that one.
So, without giving too much detail away, the story is about this American boy whose grandfather is murdered by these mysterious creatures, and his grandfather says to him, tells him to go to this island where the grandfather lived as a kid in this special children's home, and so he goes there and he finds there's this home run by this woman named Miss Peregrine, and she's like a foster mother for these kids who have supernatural abilities of some kind, like the ability to conjure fire or the ability to levitate, things like that. And like a greater threat is looming and trying to destroy them all, and he must help them.
Yeah, I heard of this movie. I excuse me. I didn't read the book, but I've but after hearing what this movie was about, I'm actually looking forward to it. And after I heard that Tim Burton was directing this movie, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've read the book myself, and I can say this is like classic Tim Burton, the kind of story it is. It's like it's perfect for him. So yeah, Tim Burton is directing. The screenwriter is Jane Goldman. Like Stardust, Zack, X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, and Kingsman: The Secret Service.
What? I
I said the screenwriter is Jane Goldman.
Jane Goldman. Okay.
She wrote Stardust, Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, and Days of Future Past, and Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Right, right.
And the cast includes Asa Butterfield, who I think is a phenomenal rising star. I've really liked his performances in movies like Hugo and Ender's Game, and oh, what did I just see him in recently that I thought I saw him in? I forget what other movie he was in that I saw, but he was good in that too. Eva Green, Ella Parnell, Terrence Stamp, Allison Janney, Samuel L. Jackson, and Judi Dench.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
All right. And then the last film for September 30th is American Honey. This is an
I heard of
independent
this movie.
film that played at the Cannes Film Festival, did get some good reviews. This is the plot summary. Star, a teenage girl with nothing to lose, joins a traveling magazine sales crew and gets caught up in a whirlwind of hard partying, law bending, and young love as she crisscrosses the Midwest with a band of misfits. It stars Sasha Lane, Shia LaBeouf, and Riley Keough.
Honestly, honestly, and I did see the trailer for this, and honestly, looks like the next Spring Breakers. And Spring
Mm-hmm.
Breakers was one of the worst, not only my most overrated film of 2013, but one of the worst movies I've seen from that year as well.
Yeah, Spring Breakers, that's a movie that people either really love or really hate that movie. There's like no in between.
Right. Um, it has a 65%, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes, but the audience score is like a 38%.
For Spring Breakers.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll see how American Honey does. It might be a little too out there, I think, for Oscar voters because they've
Well,
tried.
I heard how long the movie is. American Honey. It's supposed to be like 162 minutes.
Yeah, but well, that didn't stop Lord of the Rings from winning Oscars.
Right.
But I mean, the
What
point
I'm
is,
what I'm really worried about is that what I'm really worried about this movie, even though I'm kind of looking forward to it, but not really that much, is that I'm just worried that it just might be a pretentious art house movie that's just like Spring Breakers that could be just boring and just dumb and pretentious.
well, if there's one thing Oscar voters hate, they hate sleazy movies that try to disguise themselves as art, which is probably why they didn't nominate Spring Breakers for anything, and that could be a major hurdle for this movie.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't know if I'll see this. I'll have to see what its final Rotten Tomatoes score is. So
Well,
I'm up at
I'm doing a review of I'm doing a review of it on October 7th, like on the weekend of October 7th when the time comes for me to watch that film. So I'll let you know how that is.
okay. Now we move on to October 7th, and the first film we have, this honestly sounds like the twin sibling of Unfriended. It's called Friend
Oh
Request.
oh God, that movie. I
Folks,
heard from Film Brain. I heard from Film Brain that he hated this movie. And when I heard that this was like Unfriended, I'm like, oh God, oh Christ.
what if Chris Stuckman sees this movie and gives it a B plus like he did with Unfriended? Really, Chris? That's one of his
Just
worst reviews ever.
I agree. I agree, and it's just usually I respect his opinion. Like if he disagrees on a movie that's getting like negative reviews or positive reviews, but Unfriended was just dumb, and it was one of my worst movies from last year. Need I say more?
Right. So here's the plot summary for Request. When a college student unfriends a mysterious girl online, she finds herself fighting a demonic presence that wants to make her lonely by killing her closest friends. That is 90% the plot of Unfriended right there.
This, this movie looks terrible, in my opinion.
I could only recognize two actors in the cast list on IMDb. One of them is William Moseley, who played Peter in The Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Prince Caspian, as well as Connor Paolo, who played the kid version of Alexander the Great in Alexander, the Oliver Stone film, as well as he was also in the TV shows Gossip Girl and Revenge. So,
Yeah, I'm not
all right.
looking forward to it.
So coming up next, excuse me. This next film honestly sounds like it should go straight to Nickelodeon or the Disney Channel. Middle School: The Worst Years of My Life.
Oh God, that movie. That movie looks horrendous.
Folks, let me read the plot to you of this movie because you're not going to believe it, and Jerome is going to lose his mind when he hears this plot description. Imaginative, quiet teenager Rafe Cachadorian is tired of his middle school's obsession with the rules at the expense of any and all creativity. Up, Rafe and his best friends have come up with a plan: break every single rule in the school and let the students run wild.
Oh God, just it's it honestly, and I saw the trailer for this at my screening of Zootopia. Yes, Zootopia even show the trailer of this, and it honestly looks like a rip off of the Diary for Wimpy Kid, and I enjoyed Diary for Wimpy Kid. I enjoyed the first two. Third one was the weakest out of all of them, but I still enjoyed it. But still, this. This movie looks really bad. It looks really horrendous.
To be honest, I can think of Disney Channel and Nickelodeon movies I've seen that look a lot better than this, to be honest.
Yeah.
So the cast members, basically have a bunch of child actors, and some of the adults in the cast include Retta, she was from the show Parks and Recreation, as well as Andrew Daly, Rob Riggle from the 2021 Jump Street and Let's Be Cops, as well as Lauren Graham.
Let's be cops. That Let's Be Cops was awful.
Yeah, I don't understand how people found that movie funny. I really don't. I mean, Keegan Michael Key is funny, but in Let's Be Cops, he was horrible.
Oh, he was.
But oh, and uh, the girl in Let's Be Cops, Nina Dobrev, she's going to be in the new Triple X movie next January with Vin Diesel.
Triple. Oh, God. Oh.
Okay, now let's move on to a movie that actually looks really good, The Girl on the Train.
Yes. One of my most anticipated films of the fall season. This is my number 8.
Now, I have read the book for this, and folks, let me just say, if the movie is as good as the book, you're in for a thrill ride from start to finish, like Gone Girl.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Gone Girl was one of my favorite movies from 2014. And watching this trailer reminded me so much of that. Reminded me so much of that movie. I'm really looking forward to it.
So, what the overall story is of Girl on the Train, it's about a woman named Rachel, played by Emily Blunt. She rides the train every day, and it always stops by this house, and she likes to fantasize about the people in the house, about this husband and wife. And when the wife, named Megan Hipwell, suddenly goes missing, Rachel decides that she is going to find out why Megan disappeared, and that leads to a whole bunch of complicated stuff I can't talk about because then it's going to give away major spoilers. But if you want to read Girl on the Train, go read the book and get all the twists and turns, and then go see the movie. So it has a very good cast. You got Emily Blunt in the lead role, and then you also have Haley Bennett, Luke Evans, Justin Theroux, Jennifer Aniston's husband, Rebecca Ferguson, Ilsa from Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Laura Prepon, she's Donna from that 70s show, Edgar Ramirez, Allison Janney, and Lisa Kudrow. Nick? Hello?
Alex, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, my internet connection was awful.
That's all right. So did you hear me describe the rest of the cast for The Girl on the Train?
Yes,
Okay. So yeah, this looks like a really good movie. I can't wait to see it.
me
And
too.
oh, and it's also, I forgot to mention the director. It's directed by Tate Taylor, who also directed The Help and Get On Up.
Really good movies, in my opinion.
All right, and then we move on to our. There's two more for October 7th. Next is The Birth of a Nation.
I'm looking forward to that one, but I heard something that happened with the rape accusations.
Yes. So folks, this movie, it is about the slave revolts of Nat Turner in the the 1800s, and so it's written, directed, starring, and produced by Nate Parker. Stars Coleman Domingo, Anjanou Ellis, Dwight Henry, Asia Naomi King, Esther Scott, Gabrielle Union, Armie Hammer. Oh wait, no, I mentioned Armie Hammer already. Penelope Ann Miller and Jackie Earl Haley. So this movie got rave reviews at the Sundance Film Festival, and they were like, "This is going to sweep the Oscars. It's going to win everything." But unfortunately, some old accusations against Nate Parker from his college days in the late '90s have made their way into the media, where he was charged with a woman after having sex with her after she had passed out in his dorm room, or I suppose that's what I remember reading. He was found not guilty, but his roommate did get sentenced to jail, but managed to get his conviction overturned. So, but unfortunately, the woman who made these accusations, she committed suicide a few years ago. And like her family says, it was because of depression she had suffered from all of this.
Oh, holy shit.
That's basically it in a nutshell. And so as a result, this film, it could still get nominated for some stuff, but I don't think Oscar voters will be comfortable voting for it to win Best Picture.
Yeah, that's why it's no longer my number one most anticipated film of the fall season. It is at number 3,
Mm-hmm.
but behind some other films where I'm actually looking forward to that, but actually going to discuss later on.
Right. Yeah, and even though, and of course, Nate Parker is not the first director to get these kinds of accusations. People like Roman Polanski and Woody Allen have had these accusations put that made against them as well. And Roman Polanski even spent time in prison for it. Um, and while some of their movies may have won Oscars since then, none of their movies have won Best Picture after those accusations were made. So
Right.
that's a big red flag right there. So it shows that Oscar voters might be comfortable voting for things in other categories that they're not involved in, like technical categories, but they won't vote for the movie itself because it'll be just too embroiled in that controversy.
Right.
I mean, I do
I'm
feel
still
bad
looking
for the,
forward to the birth of Renee.
yeah. I mean, I feel bad for the rest of the actors who obviously have nothing to do with all of this,
Yeah,
but
same here.
it's sad that they'll be affected by this too, even if they didn't do anything wrong there. So yeah, but Nate Parker, yeah, this is he's on the verge of a big break, and this is exposed. How unfortunate.
Yeah.
And then the last film for October 7th is a documentary called Voyage of Time.
Yeah, yeah. You showed me the trailer for this.
hmm This is a documentary about the history of the universe directed by Terrence Malick, and I think it looks fantastic. There's actually two versions coming out. There's a 40-minute IMAX version narrated by Brad Pitt, and then there's a full 95-minute version narrated by Kate Blanchett.
I'm honestly going to wait until the Kate Blanchett thing comes out.
I want to see both because, I mean, it looks so beautiful that it looks like it's meant to be seen in IMAX.
That's understandable. And don't get me wrong though, it still looks fucking amazing.
hmm So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that because I'm a big Terrence Malick fan. I'm Night of Cups, his most recent film. That's the most underrated film of the year in my opinion.
That's where we
I
disagree.
know you'll just
That's where we disagree because even though I thought Night of Cups was decent, I really thought it was Terrence Malick's weakest film he's done in a while.
well, but that's a subject for another video because
Right.
so now we move on to October 14th, and the only major film we have that week is The Accountant.
That movie looks really amazing, in my opinion.
All right, so this is the plot of the film. Christian Wolff is a math savant with more affinity for numbers than people. Behind the cover of a small-town CPA office, he works as a freelance accountant for some of the world's most dangerous criminal organizations. When the Treasury Department's Crime Enforcement Division, run by Ray King, starting to close in, Christian takes on a legitimate client, a state-of-the-art robotics company where an accounting clerk has discovered a discrepancy involving millions of dollars. But as Christian uncooks the books and gets closer to the truth, it is the body count that starts to rise.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Really
Yeah, me
looking.
too. It's directed by Gavin O'Connor, who directed Warrior and Jane Got a Gun. I didn't see Jane Got with a Gun, but I
Jane Got a
know
Gun
many.
was Jane Got a Gun was really boring and disappointing.
But maybe this will redeem him.
Absolutely, I think this will redeem him.
And it's got a cast including Ben Affleck, Anna Kendrick, John Bernthal, J.K. Simmons, John Lithgow, Jeffrey Tambor, Allison Wright, and Gregory Allen Williams.
Right.
All right. Now we go to October 21st, and man, this is a packed weekend. So packed that one of the movies originally scheduled to release here said, "Nope, we're moving to a better release date. Bye." It was supposed to come out that day, but they're moving to a different date so that they can have a better chance at the Oscars.
I think they made the right decision, honestly.
Because if it stayed there, this is the first movie it would have opened against. Boo, a Medea Halloween.
Oh God! That movie looks awful.
I could totally agree. I'm not seeing it at all.
Well, I am, but I'm not going to be wasting my money on. I'll probably see it online, but
Well,
oh man, I'll tell you all about it after I see it.
part of the reason why I'm not seeing it is because I have such a negative opinion of it beforehand that I'm not going to be able to go in with an open mind and be willing to praise it on good points. So that's why I'm not seeing it. But here's how the IMDb, or the person who wrote the plot summary on there, tries to see it. They write, Medea winds up in the middle of mayhem when she spends a haunted Halloween fending off killers, paranormal poltergeists, ghosts, ghouls, and zombies while keeping a watchful eye on a group of misbehaving teens.
Oh God. Oh,
And Tyler Perry not only stars as Medea, but he directs again as well. And the only other cast member I could even recognize in this list is Bella Thorne. She was on a Disney Channel show called Shake It Up, which I never watched. I'm way too old for that. And she was in she was in that movie The Duff, and she was in that Alexander
I
and the
I
Terrible,
I
Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
I honestly hated the Duff.
Yeah, well, I know some people really like that movie and say it's the next Mean Girls.
No way. No. No. Mean Girls is way better than this movie.
Hmm. Well, I still have never even seen Mean Girls, so I can't compare.
Understandable.
Okay, next up. There's one person who I have a feeling is going to rip this movie apart. Brad Jones, the cinema snob, is probably going to hate this movie. It's called I'm Not Ashamed. It's from PureFlix.
Oh, that movie.
Yeah,
I'm not
yes,
even going to bother. I have no interest in I have no
folks.
interest in watching it nor reviewing it because it's by the same bullshit Christian company, Pure Flitz Entertainment, as I call it, Pure Futz Entertainment.
Now, of course, I myself am a Christian, Catholic to be
Yeah,
specific,
same
but
here.
even so, just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I'm going to give all Christian movies a pass.
Right.
Like if you go to like Brad Jones, he did both the midnight screenings of God's Not Dead and a cinema snob of God's Not Dead. In the comments section, you'll find many people who say I'm a Christian in this movie is offensive to me.
This this movie, honestly, I could give two. I I could honestly give two shits about pure Fox Entertainment.
And get ready for this, folks, because this will you'll be stunned at just what they try to do in this movie. They try to put a Christian spin on the Columbine High School massacre.
What?
Yes, I'm dead serious.
Oh my god. Oh my
Let,
god.
let me read the plot summary from IMDb just so you'll see what I mean. Summary of I Am Not Ashamed. The Columbine Massacre of April 20th, 1999 completely redefined America's view of the lives of high school students. Drawn straight from Columbine victim Rachel Joy Scott's words and journal entries through the insight of her mother, Beth Nimmo, it is the true story of a high school student whose compassionate, caring faith caused her to reach out to fellow students, including her killers, who made her a target of their murderous plan.
Oh god.
I mean, this just sounds so exploitative of this girl and her family. I mean, what I want to know is, did her family even give their blessing to this? That's what I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, like I saw the trailer for this, I think when I went to see God's Not Dead 2, and I'm like as it was as it finished, I'm like, is that what I really think it is? Is that really trying to trying to Christianize the Columbine High School massacre? What? Now I have heard about this girl Rachel Scott. I've heard about her a lot and how she was a very strong Christian, and she was very proud of her faith and apparent, and very open about it. But I don't know. I mean I don't want to criticize a Christian movie for trying to spread a real Christian message, but and I get that events like Columbine can make people stronger in their faith as they try to, get through it. But I don't know. I really this really feels like poor taste to me because even other Christian film companies, I have never, like like Sherwood Baptist Church, which is where the Kendrick brothers who make movies like War Room, Courageous, Fireproof. I don't even think they would make a movie about the Columbine massacre.
I I know, right? It's ridiculous.
Because as ridiculous as the Kendrick brothers films can be, like I've seen Fireproof and some of its messages about marriage by becoming a Christian, it's not that way, which Kirk Cameron does it, but I even think Kirk Cameron would star in if they brought him a can you star in this Christian movie about the Columbine? I think even he would say no.
Yep, but if you want to define Kirk Cameron, you would define him as what he did where when he tried to like sabotage the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, like Brad Jones, that was his worst film of 2014. It was like him and all of his friends, that was their number one worst film.
I saw Saving Christmas, and if I honestly went back to November 21st, 2014, I would have said this. I would have named this the worst movie of 2014 because honestly, this movie, I did see this movie. I did see this movie, but I saw it a year later, and this movie was really unwatchable. This movie remains like to just bad to awful to just plain unwatchable. I would give Saving Christmas a -1 out of 5 stars.
So you think it deserved its Razzie wins for worst picture and worst actor?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I've never even heard of this movie until I saw the trailer. I'm like, what is this? This looks horrendous. And
yeah,
then
and
I saw the movie, and I'm like, why did I even bother? Like, what the fuck did I just watch?
yeah. So I mean, and I'm not even sure what this movie is going to be really about. Is it going to be about Rachel Scott being, how she became a Christian? Is it going to be about just that one day? Is it going to be about how how people tried to heal from Columbine with religious faith? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I like I said, until I saw the trailer, I couldn't even believe a film like this could even be made.
It's like with Nine Lives and Dirty Grandpa.
Right. I mean, yeah, and
Why don't we move on to the next list before we start going absolutely insane?
right. Well, I should say before we leave, like with many of these Christian movies, well, unlike God's Not Dead 1 and 2, there aren't really any big stars in this movie. The only noticeable star is Sadie Robertson from Duck Dynasty,
Yeah, I've heard of her.
but she doesn't play Rachel Scott. She's not the lead role here. Rachel Scott is played by an actress named Maisie McLean. So now we move on to Jack Reacher Never Go Back.
I'm a- I'm I'm actually pretty. I actually think it looks really solid.
Hmm. I honestly didn't think the. I honestly was surprised they even announced a sequel because I thought many people thought this first one underperformed.
I
I
actually
mean,
enjoyed the first movie.
right, but I'm just saying it didn't seem like the first one made enough money at the box office to warrant a sequel.
Right.
Yeah, but of course, Tom Cruise is back as Jack Reacher. It's directed by Edward Zwick, who directed Glory and The Last Samurai. It's based on the series of books by Lee Child, and the plot is this. Jack Reacher must uncover the truth behind a major government conspiracy in order to clear his name. On the run as a fugitive from the law, Reacher uncovers a potential secret from his past that could change his life forever. And in addition to Tom Cruise, you also have in the cast hosts from How I Met Your Mother and Aldous Hodge from Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty like excited for it. I think it looks solid.
Here's the interesting thing, though: diehard fans of the Jack Reacher books, they don't like Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher.
Really?
Because in the book, Jack Reacher is 6'2" and has blonde hair, and in real life, Tom Cruise obviously has brown hair and is only 5'7". So they hate him because they think he's too short to play the role and because he has the wrong hair color.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the films or read the books, so I can't say. Yeah, but that's always the interesting thing when you cast someone who doesn't fit at all the character description of a book, whether that's a good or a bad thing.
Right.
Next is Keeping Up with the Joneses.
That movie, I saw the
So
trailer for it, and yeah, it doesn't look that good.
I might see it because it does have some people in the cast I like. So the plot is a suburban couple
Right,
played by.
right. I'm still giving the film a chance, as I would
Yeah.
with so many other films.
Mhm. So the plot is a suburban couple played by Zach Galifianakis and Isla Fisher become embroiled in an international espionage plot when they discover that their seemingly perfect new neighbors, played by Hamm and Gal Gadot, are government spies. And other actors include Patton Oswalt, Matt Walsh, and Ari Shafir.
Yeah, this movie, even though I am giving it a chance, this movie honestly it looked like it could be mediocre.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I'm willing to see it just for John Hamm.
Same here.
All right, and then also coming out, the last wide release is Ouija: Origin of Evil.
That movie, honestly, I like Mike Flanagan. I hated the first Ouija though. It was my worst movie of 2014. Like it tied with Ninja Turtles and Transformers: Age of Extinction as the worst movie I've seen in 2014. So three-way tie, if you ask me. And this movie, I do think it has some potential. And Mike Flanagan is directing this movie, which I'm kind of looking forward to. But I just don't know how this will turn out.
Mhm. Yep, and this movie, it's technically I mean, it's the second Ouija movie, but it's technically a prequel to the first one.
Right.
Is in 1967 Los Angeles, a widowed mother and her two daughters add a new stunt to bolster their seance scam business and unwittingly invite authentic evil into their home. When the youngest daughter is overtaken by a merciless spirit, the family confronts unthinkable fears to save her and send her possessor back to the other side.
Right.
So yeah, as Nick mentioned, it's directed by Mike Flanagan, who directed Oculus, Hush, and also the hopefully coming out later this year Before I Wake. And this includes Elizabeth Reeser, Doug Jones, Henry Thomas, who played Elliot in E.T. as a kid, Lynn Shay from the Insidious films, and one of the kids from Captain Fantastic, Annalise Basso.
By the way, if you see me type, or if you ever hear noise in the background, I'm watching the Pain and Gain podcast on episode 55.
Oh, that's tonight. Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I'll watch it later when we're done here because I can't wait to hear Jerome rant about Mike and Dave need wedding
Oh,
dates.
he's ranting right now. Let me tell you.
did, did, oh man, that is gonna. I wonder if he mentioned me at all because on Double Nine's channel he was like, "I applaud Alex Meyer. He hated the movie too."
Well, we'll have to find out sooner or later. But
Okay, and
anyway,
then there's two independent releases also coming out on October 21st. The first is American Pastoral. This is
I heard
based
of this
on
movie. It looks
this is
really
based
good on Philip Roth's
this
book.
is based Yep, based on Philip Roth's Pulitzer Prize winning book. So got the prestige right there. This is Ewan McGregor's directorial debut, and he also stars. And
Right.
it also the other actors include Jennifer Connelly, Dakota Fanning, Uzo Aduba, Valerie Curry, Molly Parker, Rupert Everett, and David Strathairn. And the plot summary is this: set in post-war America, the 1960s to be specific, a man watches his seemingly perfect life fall apart as his daughter's new political affiliation threatens to destroy their family.
Right. That looks amazing, in my opinion.
And then the last release for October 21st is called Moonlight.
That movie, Brett told me about this movie. Brett told me about this movie, and it looks really amazing.
hmm And the plot summary is this: a three-part narrative spanning the childhood, adolescence, and adulthood of an African American man who survives Miami's drug-plagued inner city, finding love in unexpected places and the possibility of change within himself. And it stars Trevante Rhodes, Andre Holland, Janelle Monáe, Naomi Harris, and Mahershala Ali, who played Commander Boggs in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Parts 1 and 2.
Right.
All right, now we move to October 28th, with the first big release being Inferno.
I'm I'm looking forward to it, but I just hope it doesn't end up being like one of Ron Howard's weakest films.
So this is another Robert Langdon film based on the Dan Brown books. It's a sequel to The Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, and the plot summary is this. Academy Award winner Ron Howard returns to direct the latest bestseller in Dan Brown's billion-dollar Robert Langdon series, Inferno, which finds the famous symbologist, again played by Tom Hanks, on a trail of clues tied to the great Dante himself. In an Italian hospital with amnesia, he teams up with Sienna Brooks, played by Felicity Jones, a doctor he hopes will help him recover his memories. Together, they race across Europe and against the clock to stop a madman from unleashing a global virus that would wipe out half of the world's population. And other actors include Ben Foster, Irfan Khan, and Omar Sy.
Well, yeah, I honestly, I did see the Da Vinci Code. I thought it was okay the first time, but then I saw it again. I'm like, this is not good.
All right, and then the final film for October 28th is Rings.
Oh God.
So it's a sequel to The Ring and The Ring 2. Summary is this: worried about her boyfriend Holt when he explores the dark urban legend of a mysterious videotape said to kill the watcher 7 days after viewing. She sacrifices herself to save her boyfriend, and in doing so makes a horrifying discovery. There is a movie within the movie that no one has ever seen before.
Right. And here's the thing: I enjoyed the first Ring movie. The first Ring was really good. Second was awful. This movie, though, oh God.
Um, and this movie has four screenwriters, and you know who one of them is? Akiva Goldsman.
Fuck this guy. Let me tell you. Even though he did make Cinderella Man and
And, and he wrote A
and
Beautiful Mind.
right. I was about to say that Beautiful Mind. You can't deny that he's responsible for being one of the screenwriters for one of the worst movies of all time, Batman and Robin.
And he also wrote and directed Winter's Tale.
I saw Winter's Tale.
But the YouTuber Film Master Adam, he really loves that film, and he feels all the critics have gotten it wrong.
I like Film Master Adam, but yeah, not a good judgment there.
Let me see. Oh, the cast. The cast of this movie includes Matilda Anna Ingrid Lutz, Alex Rowe, Johnny Galecki, Vincent D'Onofrio, Bonnie Morgan, Amy Teagarden, and Laura Wiggins.
Right. Right.
Now,
Honestly, this movie looks really dumb.
yeah. Now we move on to November 4th, and we got the animated film Trolls.
That is my least anticipated film of the year, hands down.
Wow, even more than Masterminds.
Yep.
So, folks, for those who don't know anything about this film, here is the plot. A grumpy troll survivalist named Branch goes along with the giddy Poppy on a quest to save Trolltown's population from the Bergens, or Bergens, however
This
that's
is like the
pronounced.
Smurfs all over again.
And folks, you won't believe how many actors they got to be in this movie. Let me just read off the list here. We got Justin Timberlake, Anna Kendrick, Zoe Deschanel, James Corden, Christine Baranski, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, or Plassey, however you say his name, John Cleese, Kunal Nayar, Quvenzhané Wallace, Gwen Stefani, Jeffrey Tambor, and Russell Brand.
That's 12 actors. 12 voice actors, people.
And you know that song that Justin Timberlake wrote, "Can't Stop the Feeling"?
Oh
I have a
God.
feeling they're probably going to try to push that for a Best Original Song nomination.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. If they did, if they did, I don't know what to say about this, but let's just say they have bad taste.
All right.
No
Next
offense.
is Doctor Strange.
That movie I'm really looking forward to, even though I'm not that excited.
So this, of course, is the latest Marvel movie, and about the Doctor Strange character, and it's directed by Scott Derrickson, who previously directed Emily Rose and Deliver Us from Evil.
Yeah, I Scott Derrickson.
And it stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Rachel McAdams, Tilda Swinton, Mads Mikkelsen, Benedict Wong, Michael Stuhlbarg, and Amy Landecker.
Right, right. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't have any high hopes for it.
Mhm. All right, next up we have a film from a very controversial director, not because of his skill, but because of his personal life, and that is Hacksaw Ridge.
That movie looks really good in my opinion. Even though Mel Gibson went downhill like after
Right,
scandals.
right. So, excuse me. So Mel Gibson, he directs this movie, but he doesn't star in it. He doesn't appear on camera. He just directs it. And what Hacksaw Ridge is about, it's about World War II American Army medic Desmond Doss, who served during the Battle of Okinawa. Because of his religious beliefs, he refused to uh, carry a gun and go into battle. That's why he became a medic. But he his comrades' lives, and because of that, he became the first conscientious objector in American history to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't have anything else to say except I'm looking forward to it. So moving
Right.
on.
And the screenplay is by Robert Schenken. He's a Tony and Pulitzer Prize winning playwright. He also wrote the miniseries South Pacific and the TV movie All the Way with Bryan Cranston and Field as Desmond Doss. And you also have Teresa Palmer, Vince Vaughn, Hugo Weaving, Sam Worthington, Rachel Griffiths, and Double Nine will find this interesting. A former Power Ranger. His name is Firas Dirani.
Yeah.
His name, but he used to play a Power Ranger.
Oh jeez.
Next up is hopefully Miles Teller's comeback. Bleed for This.
Yes, that movie. That movie looks really amazing. It won't be playing in my area. I think until November 23rd.
So this is about the inspirational story of world champion boxer Vinny Pazienza, who, after a near fatal car crash, which left him not knowing if he'd ever walk again, made one of the sport's most incredible comebacks.
That movie. That movie is in my top 10 most anticipated films of this. Excuse me, the fall season. I'm really looking forward to it. I will admit, I am a sucker for boxing movies. I really enjoy the Rocky movies. Rocky 5 was, I didn't hate it, but I would agree it wasn't a good movie. And I really enjoyed Southpaw. Southpaw was one of my most underrated movies of last year. And to see Miles Teller go from being forced to, but then go from War Dogs to this, I'm really looking forward to it.
Right, and seeing the photos and the trailer, it looks like he went all out for this movie and bulked himself up and trained really hard to get this part right.
Right.
And then other cast members, you have Katie Seagal and Ciaran Hinds as his parents and Aaron Eckhart as his trainer. And then also coming out in limited release on November 4th is Loving,
Loving is one of
Jeff
my most
Nichols' newest
anticipated films
film.
of the year.
Now, this film premiered to rave reviews at the Cannes Film Festival back in the spring. And it is the true story of an interracial couple named Richard and Mildred Loving, played by Joel Edgerton and Ruth Nega. That's how you pronounce her name. I had to look it up. and they wanted to get married in Virginia during a time when interracial marriage was illegal there. So they had to fight to get married, and their case went all the way up to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
And and the Supreme Court sided with them, and they won the case. So it's because of them that interracial marriage was allowed in every state in America because of them.
another reason why I'm really looking forward to this movie is because of Jeff Nichols, who directed one of my favorite movies of 2013, which was Mud, and then he
Mud.
and then he made Midnight Special earlier this year. Damn good movie.
Hmm. And like in all his other films, Michael Shannon also has a role in here too.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that movie.
Me too.
Next, uh, I don't know if now we move on to November 11th, and I don't know if many people have heard of this movie. It's called Shut In.
Shut in.
I guess it's a horror thriller movie. It's Here's the plot. A heart-pounding thriller about a widowed child psychologist who lives an isolated existence in rural New England. Caught in a deadly winter storm, she must find a way to rescue a young boy before he disappears forever. And the cast includes Naomi Watts, Jacob Tremblay, and Oliver Platt.
Oh. I'm. I don't know how to feel about this, to be honest. I mean, the cast alone looks like it could be a good movie, but the story. What?
Yeah, we'll see. All
Yeah,
right.
well,
Now this next
we'll see.
movie, I've seen trailers for this several times, and it doesn't look that good. It's called Almost Christmas.
I'm really mixed on that one, to be honest. I'm really mixed.
So the plot is a dysfunctional family gathers together on Christmas for the first time since their mother died. And you got Gabrielle Union, Nicole Ari Parker, Jesse T. Usher, Romany Malco, Monique, J.B. Smoove, Kimberly Elise, and Gregory Allen Williams in the cast.
The cast looks at least decent, but the cast looks at least decent, but this but the story, yeah, cliched. It looks really cliched.
Hmm. Now the next one, this looks really good. Arrival.
Yes, I'm definitely seeing it with my friend when that comes out because I love Prisoners. I love Sicario, and to see this director go from those movies to this one, and to hear that Amy Adams is in this movie, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's another one of my top 10 most anticipated films of the fall season. I'm looking forward to it.
Hmm. Yep, it's Denis Villeneuve who's directing. And I think this looks like it could actually be his best film yet, in my opinion.
Same here.
So the overall plot is this. When mysterious spacecraft when mysterious spacecraft, that's plural, not singular, touch down across the globe. Sorry, I'm trying to be quiet. My voice gets all phlegmy. An
It's
elite
it's it's
team,
fine.
an elite team led by expert linguist Louise Banks, played by Amy Adams, are brought together to investigate.
What?
As mankind teeters on the verge of global war, Banks and the team race against time for answers, and to find them, she will take a chance that could threaten her life and quite possibly humanity. And other stars include Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker, Michael Stuhlbarg, and Z Ma. He's a Chinese actor.
Right. Movie this movie looks amazing. This movie looks amazing in my opinion. It looked like because it looks like it's not just your average alien invasion movie. It's really something more.
Right, it really looks like from the trailer that we could see Amy Adams get another Oscar nomination.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if she does, this will be her sixth nomination.
Right.
All
I'm
right.
looking forward to it. It's one of my most anticipated films of the fall season. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Can't wait to
Mhm.
see what this director does.
Now, this next one, I really am looking forward to this one, and it looks and people are predicting it's going to be like one of the absolute top contenders. Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk.
Yeah, that movie looks really good.
But this is Ang Lee's newest film. Ang Lee, of
Ang
course,
Lee, man, Ang Lee, Ang Lee. He knows some good shit when he made some movies like this.
right, and he's probably one of the most diverse directors working today or ever because he like makes movies that are so different from each other. It's hard to believe the same guy directed them because he's done Sense and Sensibility, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Brokeback Mountain,
The
Life
Ice
of
Storm,
Pi. I haven't seen The Ice Storm. Life of Pi, and now this.
right,
All very different movies.
right.
So I did read the book, and the book is good. Really looking forward to this. So
This is also by Sony and TriStar Pictures, so I'm
mhm.
I'm really curious to see where it goes.
And based on the story, November 11th, which is Veterans Day, it's a very appropriate release date for this
Oh,
movie.
definitely. I might not be seeing that film in theaters, but I will be doing it early or because of Arrival. But I will try to do it to do an early review of it, like if it's possible.
But this movie looks like it's meant to be seen in theaters.
Right,
So this is the story. So the story is about a 19-year-old private named Billy Lynn, who's played by a newcomer named Joe Alwyn, who, along with his fellow soldiers in Bravo Squad, becomes a hero after a harrowing Iraq battle and is brought home temporarily for a victory tour. Through flashbacks culminating at the spectacular halftime show of the Thanksgiving Day football game with the Dallas Cowboys, the film reveals what really happened to the squad, contrasting the realities of the war with America's perceptions. So it's about what people think war is like versus what it really is like. One of
right,
those types of movies.
right.
So,
That movie looks really amazing. I can't wait to see it.
and these are the other cast members. We have Kristen Stewart, Vin Diesel, and he actually looks really good in this movie.
Oh, he does.
So, and then we have Garrett Hedlund, Steve Martin, Chris Tucker, Tim Blake Nelson. So we got one of the Pitch Perfect guys in there. He's Benji from Pitch Perfect, so maybe he'll do a good job here.
Right.
Um, Gregory Allen Williams and Brian Astro Bradley.
Definitely looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Even though it's not in my top 10, it will be in my top 15 most anticipated films of the fall season.
Oh, it's easily in my top 10.
Right, right. I get it.
All right. Next, so now we move to November 18th, and next we have The Edge of 17.
I'm not sure about this one.
It at least has a good cast, so I'll give it that.
Right. Yeah, the cast looks really good.
So the plot is this. Everyone knows that growing up is hard, and life is no easier for high school junior Nadine, played by Haley Steinfeld, who is already at peak awkwardness when her all-star older brother Darian, played by Blake Jenner, starts dating her best friend Krista, played by Haley Lou Richardson. All at once, Nadine feels more alone than ever until the expected friendship of a thoughtful boy, played by Hayden Zito, gives her a glimmer of hope that things just might not be so terrible after all. And her parents in this movie are played by Woody Harrelson and Kira Sedgwick.
I will give it that. The cast looks really good, but the story just really?
Well, a lot of other movies have been made with similar plots that have been really good.
Right.
All right, but also coming out on the same day, and this will probably easily win the box office that weekend, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
That movie I'm really looking forward to.
hmm This, of course, is a prequel of sorts to Harry Potter. It tells the story of Newt Scamander, who wrote the textbook that Harry and his friends use called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And it's set in New York City in the 1920s. David Yates, who directed the last four Harry Potter films, is directing this too. J.K. Rowling, she wrote the screenplay herself, so you got that going. And Eddie Redmayne, of course, plays Newt Scamander, and the cast also includes Ezra Miller, Colin Farrell, Zoe Kravitz, Jon Voight, Ron Perlman, Samantha Morton, Catherine Waterston, Carmen Ejogo, and Dan Fogler.
I'm really looking forward to it because I love Harry Potter. I love anything that has to do with it, and I do like Eddie Redmayne. So this movie's right up my alley.
All right. So we got two independent releases coming out that day too. The first, and they say this is going to be one of the biggest Oscar contenders for sure. Manchester by the Sea.
This is hands down my most anticipated film of the fall season.
Hmm. Yep, and folks, this was one of the most critically acclaimed films at the Sundance Film Festival earlier this year. Never
Absolutely.
underestimate Sundance when it comes to Oscar contenders, because films like Winter's Bone, Beasts of the Southern Wild, Whiplash, they all got their start at Sundance.
If sorry about the phone ring. It's just like somebody's trying to call me.
That's fine. So the story is this. An uncle is forced to take care of his teenage nephew after the boy's father dies. By Kenneth Lonergan. Kenneth Lonergan previously wrote and directed You Can Count on Me, and he also wrote Gangs of New York, which Martin Scorsese directed.
Really
And
looking forward. Really looking forward to it.
Affleck is the main star, and you also have Lucas Hedges, Michelle Williams, Kyle Chandler, Kara Hayward, Matthew Broderick, and Tate Donovan.
That cast alone, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. And the
Mm-hmm.
story, hell yeah.
Yep. And then next we got a thriller called Nocturnal Animals.
I heard of this movie. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal.
So here's the plot summary. It's a story inside a story in which the first part follows a woman named Susan who receives a book manuscript from her ex-husband, a man whom she left 20 years earlier asking for her opinion. The second element follows the actual manuscript, called Nocturnal Animals, which revolves around a man whose family vacation turns violent and deadly. It also continues to follow the story of Susan, who finds herself recalling her first marriage and confronting some dark truths about herself. It's directed by fashion designer Tom Ford, who previously directed A Single Man with Colin Firth.
I I enjoyed a single man. I really enjoyed that film.
So the cast include Amy Adams, Jake Gyllenhaal, Isla, Isla Fisher, Armie Hammer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Michael Shannon, and Laura Linney.
Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but it's not going to be getting a wide. But it's not going to be getting a wide release. I did read when it's getting a wide release. Like it's supposed to be getting a wide release. I think on December 11th.
Mm.
And
All right.
Manchester by the Sea is supposed to open in nationwide in theaters on December 16th.
Mm-hmm. But it's opening in limited release in November, so so it'll be able to qualify for the Oscars.
Right, right.
All right, now we move on to November 23rd, which is a Wednesday, but that, of course, it's the week of Thanksgiving, and we have four films opening in wide release that day. Now, the first one, people are probably going to be either really excited for this movie or they'll probably be thinking, why was it even made? Bad Santa 2.
Look, I enjoyed the first Bad Santa movie, but this movie honestly looks really stupid.
Basically, there's really no need to describe the plot, as it pretty much on IMDb says it's going to be exactly the same as the first one.
It's just going to be the same, none new. Let's just move on.
But we got some interesting people that they're bringing in for this one. I mean, of course, you got Billy Bob Thornton and Tony Cox are back, and so is the fat kid, Brett Morgan, now all grown up. He's back too.
Okay, okay, I'll give it that, but
But
still,
some new cast members include Kathy Bates and Christina Hendricks.
I like Kathy Bates. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like these bad decisions. Yeah.
All right, now we have now we have Disney's next princess movie, Moana.
That movie, it looks good. It looks good.
I'm really looking forward to it. So, of course, this is a story about uh, Moana who goes on a quest to save her village with a demigod named Maui, who, of course, is played by Dwayne Johnson. And Moana is played by a newcomer named Cravalho. And the other cast members include Jermaine Clement, Alan Tudyk, Nicole Scherzinger, Tamara Morrison, aka Django Fett, and Philippa Sue from the Broadway musical Hamilton. And speaking of Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda from that musical, he created it. He's writing some of the songs for this movie.
Interesting.
And the directors of this movie, John Musker and Ron Clements,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
all,
These guys did the Little Mermaid and Hercules.
I don't know if they did Hercules, but they did Aladdin.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that I'm really looking forward to that. Next
It
up,
looks good. I'm not gonna lie.
I think this has potential to be excellent. Allied.
Allied. I heard of this movie. Like Brad Pitt and director Robert Zemeckis. Yeah, it looks good. It looks really good.
So this is the story. In 1942, an intelligence officer in North Africa encounters a female French resistance fighter on a deadly mission behind enemy lines. When they reunite in London, their relationship is tested by the pressures of war. So yes, this is directed by Robert Zemeckis, the same guy who did the Back to the Future trilogy, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Flight, and so I think
The
with
Walk.
him oh yeah, I didn't see The Walk unfortunately.
The the walk is really the walk is a damn good movie. You should watch it.
Hmm. But yeah, but Robert Zemeckis, he's an excellent director, so we have a lot of potential right there, and the cast is really good too. We
Mhm.
have Brad Pitt, Marion Cotillard, Lizzie Kaplan, Matthew Good, Rafe Cassidy. She was Athena the robot girl in Tomorrowland, and then you also have I've told you about this actor, but I don't think anyone else has heard of his name before. August Diehl. He's a German actor.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I know who he is.
yeah, he's mostly done German films. He did have a role in Inglorious Bastards,
Right.
but he was cast as the lead in Terrence Malick's newest film that he's filming right now called
Wait,
Rodagund.
I thought it was um, one more time.
It's pronounced Rodagund.
Rodigan. Okay.
Well, it's called that because Rodagund. It's the story of Franz Jägerstatter, who was an Austrian man. Rodagund was the name of the village where he was born, and it's about how he was the only one in his town to actively stand up to the Nazis. And when the Nazis tried to force him to fight for them in World War II, he said no, and they arrested and executed him for it.
Wow.
Yeah, and Franz Jägerstatter, he was a devout Catholic, and he relied a lot on prayer in the days before his execution, and he was declared a martyr by the Catholic Church in 2007, and he was beatified, so he's one step closer to being declared a saint in the church.
That's interesting.
And of course, Franz Jägerstatter, he was one of many Catholics during that time who sacrificed their lives to stand up to the Nazis.
Interesting. So back to Allied.
That's really all I have to say about it.
Oh, okay. All right, then the last release for like November
This
23rd.
is this is Warren Beatty's long-awaited new film, Rules Don't Apply.
That movie I'm really looking forward to. I love anything that has to do with like Hollywood and movies, and I think this is right up my alley.
Now, this is Warren Beatty's first film in 15 years in anything since Town
Right.
and Country, a massive box office flop.
I I saw that movie. Yeah, not good.
Basic story. It's Hollywood 1958. Small town beauty queen and devout Baptist virgin Marla Mabry, played by Lily Collins, under contract to the infamous Howard Hughes, played by Warren Beatty, arrives in Los Angeles. At the airport, she meets her driver, Frank Forbes, played by Alden Ehrenreich, aka the future young Han Solo.
Right, and he was in Hail Caesar, one of my favorite movies of this year.
Oh, he was the best thing about that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Who is engaged to be married to his seventh grade sweetheart and is a deeply religious Methodist. Their instant attraction not only puts their religious convictions to the test, but also defies Hughes's number one rule. No employee is allowed to have any relationship whatsoever with a contract actress. Hughes's behavior intersects with Marla and Frank in very separate and unexpected ways, and as they are drawn deeper into his bizarre world, their values are challenged and their lives are changed. So Warren Beatty, he's like doing everything. He's acting in this movie. He wrote it. He directed it. and in
I'm
addition,
I'm looking forward to it.
and in addition to him, Lily Collins and Alden Ehrenreich, you have a huge cast. You have Haley Bennett, Thaisa Farmiga, Alec Baldwin, Matthew Broderick, Chase Crawford, Martin Sheen, Ed Harris, Annette Bening, Candice Bergen, Steve Coogan, Oliver Platt, Amy Madigan, Paul Sorvino, and Megan Hilty.
That's a huge cast right there.
And these are all pretty notable people. And even
Oh,
if some of
absolutely.
the people and even if some of the people you don't recognize their names, you've probably seen them somewhere, like Megan Hilty. She was on that Ash on NBC where they create a musical about the life of Marilyn Monroe.
Oh yeah, I heard of that.
She was really good in that show from what I heard. Like she has a fantastic singing voice because she comes from a musical theater background.
Interesting.
If Jerome saw a picture of her, oh, he would say, "Man, Megan Hilty, you are fine as hell."
Oh man.
Because she is a very stunning woman. I will admit that.
You know, I'll admit that as well. And I'm
All
not
right.
ashamed to admit it, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm. And on November 25th, on Friday, we have one limited release, and the Weinstein Company is going to try to push this as a big Oscar contender. It's called Lion.
I heard of this movie. I heard of it. It looks really good.
hmm And the story is a 5-year-old Indian boy gets lost on the streets of Calcutta, thousands of kilometers from home. He survives many challenges before being adopted by a couple in Australia. 25 years later, he sets out to find his lost family. And it stars Dev Patel, Nicole Kidman, and Rooney Mara, and a bunch
That,
of actors from India whose names I unfortunately can't pronounce.
like I said, if you don't know who the actors are, look it up on the IMDb page, folks.
Mhm. All right, now we are finally moving into December,
Here we go.
and for December 2nd, I saw a trailer for this film, and I could not believe how bad this movie looks. It's called Incarnate.
Oh, that movie. This is by the same studio that did the Green Inferno, the Eli Roth movie, and The Darkness. One of the absolute fucking worst movies I've seen this year. And they got the director of Cats and Dogs: The Revenge of Kitty Galore, Journey to the Mysterious Island, and San Andreas to
That's
direct this
San
movie.
Andreas.
That's
Yep,
what I was about to say.
Brad Payton
Brad
is his
Hayden.
name.
More like Brad want to pee on.
You should tell that to Jerome.
Yeah. Oh wait, even better. Brad I want to piss on.
All right. So here is the plot summary for those who haven't seen the trailer. A scientist with the ability to enter the subconscious minds of the possessed must save a young boy from the grips of a demon with powers never seen before while facing the horrors of his past.
Oh,
Is the lead role, and you also have Catalina Sandino Moreno.
no.
And then she's an Oscar nominated actress from, I think, Colombia.
Oh, okay.
And then you're gonna hate this, Nick. That it all you have the kid who played Mikey from The Darkness, David Mazouz.
What the fuck? Come on!
And then you also have MJ Anthony, who played John Favreau's son in Chef, and he was in also in Krampus and Bad Moms.
Oh, okay. Krampus was really good. Chef was amazing, but Bad Moms. I already talked about this one.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen Bad Moms, and I don't have any plans on seeing it because I can't go
You
into it
you
with an open mind.
you ain't missing much, man. You ain't missing much.
All right, this next film, when Jerome hears about this next film's plot, he is gonna lose his mind. It's called Keep Watching, and this is the plot.
Oh, oh, I heard of this movie.
A family imprisoned by intruders is forced to play a terrifying game of kill or be killed. As the night unfolds, the game's mysterious rules become clear, and the family realizes their nightmare is being streamed live to riveted viewers all over the world who are compelled to keep watching, not knowing if what they are seeing is real or staged.
Just that is just so ridiculous.
Jerome is going to blow his top if he when he reads that.
Yeah, probably.
And then he and Garrison are going to see the movie together and do an 80-minute rant on it like they did at the Purge election year.
Probably, probably. Oh my god.
And then on December 2nd, we have another thriller horror movie, I guess you could say,
Oh,
called Kidnap.
this is
Basically,
why I'm
all
like
a mother
this.
stops at a mother stops at nothing to rescue her kidnapped son, and it stars Halle Berry.
Oh, brother.
But Halle Berry does have what looks like a good movie coming out next year, Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that film.
Yeah. But on December 2nd, we get a limited release that goes wide on December 16th, and it's right now considered the big Oscar contender to beat La La Land.
Yes, my second most anticipated film of the fall season, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and folks, this movie just premiered at the Venice Film Festival where it received rave reviews. I mean, critics love this movie. They say it's like one of the best movie musicals in a long time.
And they're also saying it's one of the best movies of the year. I'm taking my mom to see that movie when it comes out. When it comes out
Yeah,
December 16th nationwide. Yeah,
yeah, and folks,
I'm telling you, let me just say this really quick. I'm telling you, December 16th is going to be a busy weekend for me because not only am I seeing La La Land with my mother, but I'm seeing Manchester by the Sea next with my friend.
cool. And folks, La La Land, this is an original musical. This is not an adaptation of a Broadway or off-Broadway musical. This musical movie was written directly for the screen, which is very, very rare these days.
Very rare. And this is directed by the director of Whiplash, one of my top three favorite films of 2014.
Yep, Damien Chazelle.
Damien Chazelle. Damien Chazelle, man, I can't wait to see that film.
And basically, for those who have no idea what the movie's about, it's about a struggling jazz musician named Sebastian, played by Ryan Gosling, who falls in love with a struggling actress named Mia, played by Emma Stone, and it's their love affair, and it's a musical. Also got these people in the cast:
A
J.K. Simmons,
musical.
J.K. Simmons, John Legend, Finn Whitrock, Rosemarie DeWitt, and Callie Hernandez.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to this movie. Looking forward to it.
And although our friend Austin Putnam is not a big fan of musicals, I think he's going to absolutely love this movie
Oh,
because
yeah.
Whiplash is one of his 10 favorite films of all time.
It was my number 3 of 2014. That movie blew me away. I That movie looked good from the trailers, but and I going into that film, I had a very I had some hope of this movie being good, but that movie blew me away like blew me away like I after the movie was over, I was shaken.
And here's a fun fact: the editor of Whiplash, who won an Oscar for his editing, he grew up close to where I live.
Really?
Hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, Rochester, New York. We've had quite a lot of Oscar winners and nominees who grew up here. The most famous, of course, being Philip Seymour Hoffman. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man.
It was Philip Seymour It was the buzz over Philip Seymour Hoffman in Capote that led me to get really interested in the Oscars in the first place. That was the first Oscar ceremony I ever watched.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman was fantastic in Capote, my number one favorite movie of 2005, and one of my all time favorite
Hmm.
movies, I should say.
Right. Now with La La Land, if I end up loving this movie as much as the critics do, then it'll be, just fantastic because, and it'll especially show just how great of a director Damien Chazelle is because it's very rare to have a director who has no experience working on musicals to pull off making a successful musical.
Right, and it looks like another movie I can give an A+ to.
Right. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this film is like a big box office success and if it's like a big Oscar winner. I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually turned into an actual Broadway musical
Me neither.
because Broadway, they love now on Broadway to turn movies into musicals, which
Right.
they did earlier this year with they turned the Kerry Russell movie Waitress into a musical.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But I hear it's actually really good. It's not like,
Really
yeah, yeah, Sarah Bareilles wrote the score for that show.
interesting.
Yeah, but La La Land, it looks absolutely fantastic. I've loved the trailers, especially the most recent one with Emma Stone singing. She sounds gorgeous.
Oh, she blew me away. She blew me away with her singing, and this absolutely looks beautiful.
Yeah, this. Uh, I mean, it'll be interesting to see like 50 years from now how La La Land will be ranked amongst the older classic Hollywood musicals. If it'll be ranked up there with them, like up there with West Side Story and The Sound of Music and all that.
Right.
All right, so yeah, La La Land. It's definitely in my top 10 most anticipated.
It's my number two. It is my
Hmm.
number two. I really want to see what Damien Chazelle does with that movie because I love movies. I love anything. I love anything Hollywood, and seeing this as a musical movie, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder what Garrison and Double Nine will think of this because they're both music enthusiasts. I know they don't really love like Broadway, like musical stage musicals, but they love like music in general. But I think even they will probably really love this movie.
Oh, absolutely. I also think so too. By the way, of those three movies you mentioned, Kidnap, Incarnate, and Keep Watching, I might take a break from film reviewing like on that day because I'm not even going to
Yeah.
bother wasting my time with those films.
All right, now we move on to December 9th, and oh boy, this next film has one of the most ridiculous movie titles I have ever seen: The Bye Bye Man.
I heard, I heard, I heard of this movie.
And it's a horror film, and guess what? An Oscar-winning actress appears in this movie.
Really? Who is it?
Yep, Faye Dunaway.
Oh,
She won the Oscar for Network in 1976. Fantastic performance
yeah.
in that movie.
But then she has, I'm not surprised she's in that movie because she has made some bad decisions over the years.
Yeah, her career took a real nosedive in the 80s when she did Mommy Dearest.
I'm not gonna lie, Mommy Dearest is bad, but I wouldn't say it's like 50 Shades of Grey, Hot Pursuit, or any type of movie bad. I think I consider it a guilty pleasure. Yes,
Yeah,
the movie is just stupid, but
yeah, but this is the plot of the movie. Okay, when three college students move into an old house off campus, they unwittingly unleash a supernatural entity known as the Bye Bye Man, who comes to prey
oh
upon them once they discover his name. The friends must try to save each other, all while keeping the Bye Bye Man's existence a secret to save others from the same deadly fate. He's a popular horror actor. He plays the Bye Bye Man. And not only does this film have an Oscar winner like Faye Dunaway, but it also has Trinity from The Matrix, Carrie Ann Moss.
yeah, the, the title alone is ridiculous.
They always like to release a horror movie on the first weekend of December. Like they released Krampus on the first weekend of December last year. They released one of my worst films of 2014, The Pyramid, on the worst of 2000
I
in
I I
December.
I saw the pyramid. Saw the pyramid. It would have made my worst of a list, but it's just I had so many crap in 2014 that I couldn't even squeeze that in.
Okay, now the next one looks really good. Miss Sloane.
Yeah, that movie. That looks good.
So, so this is what it's about. A ruthless and highly successful political strategist, Elizabeth Sloane, played by Jessica Chastain, exposes the cutthroat world of DC lobbyists on both sides of the gun control debate. New legislation requiring more stringent background checks for gun ownership is gaining traction in Congress, and Sloan is approached to spearhead the campaign, pitting her against the formidable power of her political opponents. Deploying her notorious skills and driven by a desire to win at all costs, she jeopardizes those closest to her and puts her own career at risk. Yeah, and I hear they want to launch a Best Actress campaign for Jessica Chastain in this film.
Right. The only thing I'm concerned about this movie is that Luc Besson's production company is involved with this, Europa Corp.
Mm. But it has a good cast though. So in addition to Jessica Chastain, you have Gugu Mbatha Raw, Mark Strong, Ashton Hill, Michael Stuhlbarg, John Lithgow, Sam Waterston, and Dylan Baker.
Right. Right. That alone stands out to be that looks like it could be a good movie. I mean, I avoided some of the films that came out from Europa Corp, such as like the Transporter Refueled. I had no interest in seeing that movie, nor reviewing it, and I avoided Nine Lives like a plague son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm. All right, next film. This film is probably going to be on everyone's worst of the year list. Office Christmas Party.
Oh, that trailer infuriated me. It infuriated me. You have no idea.
Yeah, yeah, and folks, this has a ridiculous premise, and it looks like it wastes a huge, literally a huge cast. So this is the plot. When his uptight CEO sister threatens to shut down his branch, the branch manager throws an epic Christmas party in order to land a big client and save the day, but the party gets way out of hand.
Oh,
Listen to this list of the actors who agreed to be in this movie. Kate McKinnon, Olivia Munn, Jason Bateman, T.J. Miller, Jillian Bell, Rob Corddry, Randall Park, Matt Walsh, Courtney B. Vance, Vanessa Bayer, Oliver Cooper, and Sam Richardson.
14 actors, folks. 14 actors who agreed to be in this movie that looks like a steaming pile of dog shit.
And it's directed by Josh Gordon and Will Speck, who previously directed Blades of Glory, a film I really love, and they also directed The Switch.
The Oh yeah, The Switch. That movie.
Yeah. All right. But moving to December 16th, we
Okay,
have
okay. Can I just say something real quick? I enjoy Blaze of Glory. I really enjoyed that film, but this movie honestly looks like one of the worst movies of the year. It's
Mm,
it's like Love the Coopers, except if it's more crude.
mm. All right, so the first December 16th film, it's coming out limited release in that day, so it can qualify for the Oscars, but gets a wide release, I think, on January 13th. The Founder.
That movie I'm really looking forward to. That I'm actually going to be reviewing that film on the last week of December, December 28th. That will be one of my reviews.
Mm. And believe it or not, folks, this movie was originally supposed to open on the same day as Suicide Squad.
I think they made the right decision not to remove that from the release date so that it could qualify for the Oscars.
True. But hey, but here's the interesting thing. Since Suicide Squad got bad reviews from critics and kind of a meh reception from fans, if they had still kept it at that release date, it probably could have gotten a lot of disappointed people to go see that film after seeing Suicide Squad.
You're probably. Oh my god.
But yeah, but folks, this movie, this is the story of how Ray Kroc, played by Michael Keaton, ended up founding the fast food chain we all know as McDonald's.
Yes, this looks like a great Oscar contender for Michael Keaton, and it is in my top. This is. I don't know if it's in my top 10 or my top 5, but this is easily my top 10 most anticipated films of the fall season.
Yep, and it's directed by John Lee Hancock, who directed The Blind Side and Saving Mr. Banks. And the other cast members include Laura Dern, Patrick Wilson, Nick Offerman, Linda Cardellini, John Carroll Lynch, and B.J. Novak.
That cast alone makes me look forward to this movie even more. And I enjoyed The Blind Side and Saving Mr. Banks. I think they're both really underrated films in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think Sandra Bullock totally deserved to win her Oscar for The Blind Side. I know some people were
Absolutely,
like,
I'm with you, man. I'm with you on this one. She deserved that.
mhm. All right, next up we have Collateral Beauty.
Yeah.
Not too much has been revealed about the plot. The only thing that says on IMDb is a tragic event sends a New York ad man on a downward spiral. And the cast includes Will Smith, Kate Winslet, Keira Knightley, Helen Mirren, Edward Norton, Naomi Harris, and Michael Pena.
Mm-hmm.
And it's directed by David Frankel, who previously directed The Devil Wears Prada, Marley and Me, and Hope Springs.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
And then, of course, we got the big one, Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
I'm definitely looking forward to that one. I don't have any high hopes for it since it's like a spin-off, but
Oh, I have,
but
I
I,
have,
I'm still looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong.
oh, I'm really looking forward to it. This is in like my top 5 most anticipated of the year.
Don't get me wrong though. Don't get me wrong. I love Star Wars, and I think this movie's in my most anticipated films of the fall season.
Yeah. So yes, folks, this is it is a spin-off Star Wars film of sorts. It's within the Star Wars canon, but this one is set in between episodes 3 and 4, Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and it's about how the rebels, how in A New Hope when they give the Death Star plans to Princess Leia, this is about how those Death Star plans were stolen.
Right.
Cast includes, you got a great cast. You got Felicity Jones, Mads Mikkelsen, Riz Ahmed, Alan Tudyk, Forrest Whitaker, Donnie Yen, Ben Mendelsohn, who looks fantastic as the villain Orson Krennic. And Felicity Jones also looks great as the hero
Mhm.
Diego Luna, Genevieve O'Reilly, and Warwick Davis.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's just it's
And
not
the
my the reason why it wasn't my top 10 most it's not my top 10 most anticipated films of the fall season is because there was so much movies that look really good that are that it's just it's just hard to squeeze in.
and there are actually two old Star Wars characters coming back in like cameo roles.
Really?
Yep, Jimmy Smits, who played Bail Organa, Princess Leia's adoptive father, he has admitted he makes a cameo in the film.
Wow.
And then, of course, now this news came out a while ago, but it's got fans so happy. Darth Vader will make a cameo as well.
That's amazing.
And you'll love this even more. He will once again be voiced by the man himself, James Earl Jones.
Yes! 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 Looking forward to that.
Yep. So I'm definitely looking forward to this movie.
Me
It's
too.
directed by Gareth Edwards, who directed Godzilla.
I enjoyed that film.
And although John Williams is not doing the music here because he's busy working on the music for Star Wars Episode 8, they got a fantastic composer, one of my personal favorites, and who I think is the John Williams of his generation, Alexander Desplat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and folks, these are just some of the films Alexander Desplat has written the scores for: The Queen, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The King's Speech, The Tree of Life, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Parts 1 and 2, Argo, Zero Dark 30, and The Grand Budapest Hotel, which he won an Oscar for.
He well deserved that Oscar, in my opinion. Yeah.
Oh, that he would have been that was a tough year for scores because there were a lot of good ones. My personal pick actually was Hans Zimmer for Interstellar because
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a fantastic musical score.
Hans Zimmer has only won one Oscar for The Lion King.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this film a lot, and I will definitely be seeing it on opening weekend. And then we have the next film is opening limited release on December 16th, but opening wide on Christmas Day, and there's a lot of high hopes for this film, Fences.
Yes, you told me about this movie. It looks really good.
Yes, this is an adaptation of the Tony Award and Pulitzer Prize winning play by August Wilson. It's set in Pittsburgh in the 1950s about former baseball player who's now a garbage man and his frustrations with his life and his family. And it's got a fantastic cast. Denzel Washington and Viola Davis will star, and Denzel Washington also directs.
That's that's amazing. That is amazing to hear. It's easily my top 20 most anticipated films of the fall season.
Right, and both Denzel Washington and Viola Davis starred in this play together on Broadway in 2010 in a revival because the play originally came out in the 80s, and they both won Tony Awards for their performances. So if either of them should win Oscars for this, they'll be among the rare group of people to win Oscars and Tonys for playing the same character.
Right. But I don't think that's it's I don't think I'm not sure if it will happen because I think Michael Keane I think is going to stand out as the biggest contender.
Well, I think right now for best it's probably Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah,
But
yeah.
goldderby.com, the award website I go to every day, they right now think Viola Davis will be the front runner for Best Actress. They think she'll win
Really?
because this is a role she has played before and won awards for, and this is a play that she's been very passionate about. She's been wanting to make a film version of this play for years. And she's a very talented actress, so you know she's going to put like 150% of her heart and soul into this performance.
Right. I will be seeing that after Christmas, December 26th. December 2026. I'm not sure when I will see it. I will be seeing it in theaters. And let me tell you, I can't wait to see it.
Right, and Fences, it has a very high reputation. It's considered one of the best African American plays of all time.
That's amazing to hear.
So yeah, and August Wilson, who sadly passed away like 10 years ago, he's considered one of the greatest African American playwrights of all time. I read one of his plays once in a theater class called Joe Turner's Come and Gone. Really good play. But Fences, that's considered to be like his masterpiece.
I I I bet it is.
All right, so let me
December
get this back
23rd.
up. No, December 16th,
Oh,
limited release,
okay.
December 25th, wide release. Okay, now December 21st, we have four wide release movies. The first, now you have hopes for this film, but I do not. Sing.
That film that okay, let me retract that. I'm honestly not looking forward to that one.
Right. You know who's despising it, you know who's not looking forward to the most? The YouTube reviewer Trilby. He
Trophy
thinks that film is
reviews.
going to be the yeah, he thinks that film is going to be the worst film of the year. He hates the trailer for it with a burning passion.
The trailer was awful. Like especially the songs. My most of the songs
Well,
except for the gorilla.
all right, well, so folks, the plot of this movie is this. A koala named Buster recruits his best friend to help him drum up business for his theater by hosting a singing competition, which is interesting, but in the trailer they use some of the most awful modern day pop songs, and I hate it when we have animals singing modern day pop songs that are garbage.
And here's the problem. This is by Illumination Entertainment.
Hmm. But a big
This,
red flag is that the director of this movie, Garth Jennings, he has no experience with animation before. His other films are The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Son of Rambo, live action films.
I think that might become, even though I do have some hopes for Taron Egerton, because I ever since I saw him in Kingsman: The Secret Service and Eddie the Eagle, and ever since I heard his voice, like his singing voice, I still have hope. I still have hopes for this actor. Like I think he might be the only redeeming. I think he might be the only redeeming thing in that film. But honestly, this movie looks really bad. It looks really bad.
There's another film you should check out that is very underrated, in my opinion, that Taron Egerton is in. It's called Testament of Youth.
Oh yeah, I saw that film. I saw that film a year ago. It was very good film. Very good film.
Hmm. So yeah, and like Trolls, this film has a huge voice cast. It's
Matthew
got
McConaughey.
you know, we have Matthew McConaughey, Scarlett Johansson, Taron Egerton, Reese Witherspoon, Nick Kroll, Leslie Jones, Nick Offerman, G. Colby's favorite actor, Seth MacFarlane,
Of course.
Jennifer Saunders, Jay Farrow. He's the one who he impersonates Kanye West on Saturday Night Live, and he is fantastic.
Oh, by the
He's
way,
so good as
but by the way, Jacoby, if you're watching this, no offense, buddy, no offense.
yeah, I mean, he's so good as Kanye West that Kanye West hates his impression of him.
It's fuck Kanye West, man. He's nothing but a douchebag.
Agreed. Heck, Kanye West got mad at Jimmy Kimmel when Jimmy Kimmel parodied a Kanye interview with two kids
Oh,
playing Kanye and the interviewer. The little kid who played Kanye, he was awesome. And then the
shit.
final cast members are Tori Kelly and Beck Bennett.
Okay.
So you got a lot of yeah, you got a lot of Saturday Night Live people in here
Yeah.
because you got three: Leslie Jones, Jay Farrow, and Beck Bennett.
Right. Right.
All right. Now this next one, it's the reverse. You don't have hopes for this movie, but I do. The Space Between Us.
That movie, honestly, this looks like a generic love story movie, and this is directed by Peter Cheslum, who directed Hector and the Search for Happiness, one of the worst movies I've seen from 2014. And this movie, the fact that it's a space love story, honestly makes me think: is there any hope for this universe whatsoever?
And some of his other movies include The Mighty, which I hear is actually pretty good. I've never seen it. Town and Country, massive flop, one of the biggest flops ever.
Town and
Shall We
Country was
Dance?
Town and
And
Country was awful.
Shall We
Okay, Shall We
Dance?
Dance was good.
And Hannah Montana, the movie.
Ah! Now can you see why I'm not looking forward to this?
hmm So this is what the story is. In this interplanetary adventure, a space shuttle embarks on the first mission to colonize Mars, only to discover that after takeoff, one of the astronauts is pregnant. Shortly after landing, she dies from complications while giving birth to the first human born on the red planet, never revealing who the father is. Thus begins the extraordinary life of Gardner Elliott, an inquisitive, highly intelligent boy who reaches the age of 16 having only met 14 people in his very unconventional upbringing. While searching for clues about his father and the home planet he's never known, Gardner begins an online friendship with a street smart girl in Colorado named Tulsa.
Oh,
When he, fi- when he finally gets a chance to go to Earth, he's eager to experience all of the wonders he could only read about on Mars, from the most simple to the extraordinary. But once his explorations begin, scientists discover that Gardner's organs can't withstand Earth's atmosphere. Eager to find his father, Gardner escapes the team.
I'm sorry, but I'm not looking forward to this film because it's like another melodramatic like The Martian wannabe.
I wouldn't. It doesn't seem like it'll be that far from me, but well, I guess the reason, the hope I have for this movie is the cast, and the cast it looks pretty good. You have Asa Butterfield.
The cast, I will give it that.
You
But
have Asa.
still,
mm, You have Asa Butterfield, Britt Robertson, Gary Oldman, Carla Gugino, and B.D. Wong. Was the mom in the Spy Kids movies, at least the first three.
yeah,
And B.D. Wong, he's the voice of Shang in Mulan.
right.
All right. So now a lot of
But
people were.
now, now it's just like the space between us. Honestly, let's say, but not only does it look like a Martian wannabe, but it looks like if Nicholas Sparks actually wrote this movie.
Okay, next up. Now, a lot of people, some people like Warcraft, but a lot of people were very disappointed by it. But maybe this movie will be better. Assassin's Creed.
I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yep, so this, of course, is based on the very popular video game, and the story for this film is this. Through a revolutionary technology that unlocks his genetic memories, Callum Lynch, played by Michael Fassbender, experiences the adventures of his ancestor Aguilar in the 15th century Spain. He is descended from a mysterious secret society, the Assassins, and amasses incredible knowledge and skills to take on the oppressive and powerful Templar organization in the present day. So you not only have Michael Fassbender, but you also have Marion Cotillard, Michael Kenneth Williams, Jeremy Irons, and Brendan Gleeson. And it's directed by Justin Kurzel, who directed the recent version of Macbeth last year, starring Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard.
Sorry for hearing noise in the background. I was talking to my brother.
That's fine.
Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed.
Mhm. I'm not sure if I'll see that because I'm not a big video game person. Plus, there's so many other movies in December, I may not have time. a lot of people are really looking forward to this one, Passengers.
Yeah, that movie looks really good.
So the plot is this: the spaceship Starship Avalon. I'm not mixing things up. It says the spaceship, and then it says Starship Avalon. In its 120-year voyage to a distant colony planet known as the Homestead Colony, and transporting 5,259 people, has a malfunction in two of its sleep chambers. As a result, two hibernation pods open, and the two people that awake, Jim Preston, played by Chris Pratt, and Aurora Dunn, played by Jennifer Lawrence, are stranded on the spaceship still 90 years from their destination. And in those two, you also have in the cast Lawrence Fishburne, Michael Sheen, and you might not like this because of her previous film, but maybe this will be a comeback for her, Aurora Perrineau from Gem and the Holograms.
Oh,
Like I said,
okay,
maybe
okay. Let's just hope it does redeem her from that.
yeah, because a lot of the times when these actresses get cast in the really bad movies, they do get a chance to redeem themselves. Like one of the girls from Knock Knock is in the Blade Runner sequel,
Yeah, but she was also in War Dots, and she was really good in that film.
and also the director of Passengers is Morton Tildum, who got an Oscar nomination for directing The Imitation Game.
That was one of my favorite movies from 2014.
It was in my honorable mentions. It almost made the top 10, but not quite. But still, very good movie.
It was in my top 20 best of 2014 because 2014 offered me too much goodness that I couldn't construct into 10.
Hmm. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Passengers. I know a lot of people we know really looking forward to it as well. Um,
Gary made a meme. Gary made a meme as a it's when you see your favorite porn star on TV.
okay. All right. So now we move on to Christmas Day. This film, who knows how people will react to this film? Why him?
That movie. Why him? Why else?
So yeah, so this is the story. Over the holidays, Ned, played by Bryan Cranston, an overprotective but loving dad and his family, visit his daughter, played by Zoe Deutsch, at Stanford, where he meets his biggest nightmare, her well-meaning but socially awkward Silicon Valley billionaire boyfriend Laird, played by James Franco. The rivalry develops, and Ned's panic level goes through the roof when he finds himself lost in this glamorous high-tech world and learns that Laird is about to pop the question.
That movie honestly looks terrible.
I mean, I can understand Bryan Cranston wanting to do a comedy after doing a lot of dramas, but uh, we'll see how this one does. I'm not sure about this one. But I mean, the idea of Bryan Cranston playing a dad who hates his daughter's boyfriend, that does sound awesome. He does sound like he could be good in this movie, even if the movie itself is not good.
I think Bryan Cranston might be the only redeeming actor in this movie. I will agree with that, but it's
Yeah.
just the story. The story looks like let's really generic.
And the other actors in this movie include Megan Mullally, Adam Devine, Keegan Michael Key, Andrew Rannells, and Casey Wilson. Okay, and then next on Saturday, on Christmas Day, we have Gold.
Oh, I heard of this movie.
So the story is Kenny Wells, played by Matthew McConaughey, an unlucky man, teams up with geologist Michael Acosta, played by Edgar Ramirez, to find gold deep in the uncharted jungles of Indonesia. Okay, I mean it's a story that we've seen a million times before,
I understand. Yeah, I will admit it does look all right.
it does have a good cast because in addition to
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey and Edgar Ramirez, you have Bryce Dallas Howard, Toby Kebbell, Corey Stoll, Stacy Keach, Bruce Greenwood, and Timothy Simons. And it's directed by Stephen Gaghan. Stephen Gaghan wrote the movie Traffic, and he also wrote and directed the movie Syriana, which George Clooney won an Oscar for.
Traffic and Syriana are two great movies in my opinion. So it does have some potential.
Mm-hmm. So, and then next up, this movie has a limited release on Christmas Day and a wide release on January 6th, and it was originally supposed to open against Boo! A Medea Halloween, A Monster Calls.
Right.
But
Monster.
but by moving it here, it's a sign that the filmmakers want to really push an Oscar campaign for it.
I think that will be. I think, to be 100% honest, that will be one of my last reviews for December 28th.
Mm-hmm. So, for those who don't know, the story is this. The monster does not come walking often. This time it comes to Connor, and it asks for the one thing Connor cannot bring himself to do, tell the truth. He struggles at school with bullies and pity looks from everyone, and at home with his mother's sickness. Will Connor overcome his problems? Will everything be okay? Will Connor be able to speak the truth? And it's directed by J.A. Bayona, who, of course, directed The Impossible, as well as I've never seen this, but it's a really well-regarded Spanish horror film called The Orphanage.
I saw The Orphanage. It is a great movie.
And he's also directing Jurassic World 2.
Jurassic World.
Maybe he'll do a better job than Colin Trevorrow, because I know you find Jurassic World overrated.
Trust me, that film was full of idiocracy all over the butt.
Right. So the cast, Connor is played by a newcomer named Lewis McDougall, and his parents are played by Felicity Jones and Toby Kebbell. His grandmother is played by Sigourney Weaver, and other cast members include there's also Geraldine Chaplin, Charlie Chaplin's daughter, and the monster itself is voiced by Liam Neeson. Perfect choice.
Perfect choice, in my opinion. Oh, one more thing. Up yours, Boo! A Medea Holiday.
Yeah, well, at least they're not releasing a Boo! Medea Halloween around Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right.
Can I just say one more thing really quick?
Mm-hmm.
A Monster Calls is also my top 20 most anticipated films of the fall season. I mean, yes, it is coming out in January 2017 for a nationwide release, but I will count it as a 2016 release because that will actually be one of my last reviews, along with Fences, The Founder, and another film that you forgot to mention that's getting a limited release in December before it hits theaters in January on Patriots Day.
All right. I was getting ready to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Patriots Day. Thank you for reminding me. That is of course about the Boston Marathon bombings and the efforts to the two brothers responsible for them.
And
it's once again, and it's being directed by
and
Peter Berg.
Light Deepwater Horizon. It's directed by Peter Berg.
It stars Mark Wahlberg, J.K. Simmons, John Goodman, and a former Nickelodeon star, Alex Wolff, will play one of the Tsarnaev brothers, the terrorists.
I mean, it looks really good in my opinion. I haven't seen the trailer yet, but from the images, this looks like a great movie, and this looks like a great movie in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And then next up, we're almost done here. This is getting a limited Christmas Day release and a wide release on January 13th. Hidden Figures.
I don't think I heard of this.
Oh, the trailer recently came out. It's fantastic. So here is the plot summary. As the United States raced against Russia to put a man in space, NASA found untapped talent in a group of African-American female mathematicians that served as the brains behind one of the greatest operations in U.S. history. Based on the unbelievably true life stories of three of these women known as human computer
Oh,
we follow these women as they
oh.
quickly rose through the ranks of NASA alongside many of history's greatest minds, specifically tasked with calculating the momentous launch of astronaut John Glenn into orbit and guaranteeing his safe return.
Okay, okay. I'm looking at this stuff by the Wikipedia, and I'm like, damn, this looks really good.
hmm So you have Dorothy Vaughan, played by Octavia Spencer, Mary Jackson, played by Janelle Monáe, and Katherine Johnson, played by Taraji P. Henson. Gender, race, and professional lines, while their brilliance and desire to dream big beyond anything ever accomplished before by the human race firmly cemented them in U.S. history as true American heroes. Those three ladies you have in the cast: Mahershala Ali, Aldous Hodge, Glenn Powell, Jim Parsons, Kevin Costner, and Kirsten Dunst. And it's directed by Theodore Melfi, who directed St. Vincent.
St. Vincent was really good.
hmm This originally was just supposed to come out in January, but thanks to the birth of a nation losing momentum because of the rape allegations against Nate Parker, they decided to give this one a limited release now to hopefully get that film some Oscar traction.
There's going to be so much goodness. You have no idea.
Right. So those are all the major films set to be released, but there's two films I want to talk about that will probably be released this year, but don't have a set release date yet. The first is Before I Wake, which we talked a little bit about earlier, by Mike Flanagan.
Right.
So this is the plot of Before I Wake. In this intense and heart-pounding supernatural thriller, Jesse, played by Kate Bosworth, and Mark, played by Thomas Jane, and a sweet and loving 8-year-old boy, Cody, played by Jacob Tremblay. Unbeknownst to them, Cody is terrified of falling asleep. At first, they assume his previous unstable homes caused his aversion to sleep, but soon discover why. Cody's dreams manifest in reality as he sleeps. In one moment, they experience the incredible wonder of Cody's imagination, and in the next, the horrific nature of his night terrors. To save their new family, Jesse and Mark embark on a dangerous hunt to uncover the truth behind Cody's nightmares.
Okay. Yeah, I heard about this movie. I heard about
Mhm,
this movie back last year when it was supposed to get released, but then Relativity Media went bankrupt.
mhm.
And they
And
and
then,
they delayed this film many times. Just stop.
mhm. And then finally, this doesn't have a set release date yet, but I have a very strong feeling they're going to get an Oscar-friendly release date, probably in December or so. Silence, the new Martin
Yes,
Scorsese
Martin
film,
Scorsese.
been one of Scorsese's biggest passion projects ever. He's adapting the novel by Shusaku Endo. So it's a Japanese novel. And the story is about these Portuguese Jesuit priests who go to Japan to find their missing mentor, who has supposedly went to convert the Japanese natives to Christianity, but disappeared. And the rumor is he's renounced his faith completely after being tortured, because this was at a time when the Japanese did not like Christianity and they would persecute who anyone, whether they were from outside of Japan or the Japanese people themselves who were promoting Christianity. People would be tortured, killed, and just all sorts of horrific things. And
Right.
like I'm not going to say anything more that happens because it'd be giving away major spoilers. But you got Andrew Garfield, Adam Driver, and Liam Neeson in this movie.
Those guys right there look like they could sell for a great movie. And I did read that it's supposed to be Martin Scorsese's longest film yet.
Or one of, I mean, he's made some, like his Bob Dylan documentary is like 4 hours long, but for Silence, yeah, this movie is reportedly 195 minutes long. That's three
Yeah,
hours and 15 minutes.
yeah, but I think it looks good.
hmm
You know what? I think I might have to plan something because I think all these movies look really good. Am I? like most of them that you explained that are coming on the fall season, and show some Oscar contenders. I think I might have to make a top 40 list by the end of the year because I usually do a top 30, like 15 honorable mentions and 15 of the best films I've seen this year. But I'm going to have to do 20 honorable mentions and 20 of the best films if possible, if necessary.
Hmm. Yep, and Martin Scorsese is my favorite director of all time. I think
Same
he's
here, man. Same
I think
here.
I I think
Same.
he is the best director of all time.
Exactly. Exactly. And he made my favorite. He made my favorite movie of all time too. Goodfellas.
Mm,
Great movie.
mm,
My favorite movie of all time.
wow.
Yes.
Yeah, and Roger Ebert, I should note this, Roger Ebert, he was known for making a lot of bold predictions about movies that came true. Like Roger Ebert predicted correctly that 2001: A Space Odyssey would be considered a classic right when it came out because and Roger Ebert also correctly predicted when he reviewed Martin Scorsese's very first film in the late 60s that he would be known as one of the greatest directors of all time.
And he was right.
So Roger Ebert, from the very beginning, knew Martin Scorsese was a legend.
He's a damn amazing legend, let me tell you.
I mean, there are many actors who have literally there are many actors who have literally dropped everything just to be in a Martin Scorsese movie.
This you know, my dream is to become an actor. My dream is to become an actor and filmmaker. If I were to become an act, if I did become an actor, I would love to star in Martin Scorsese's films.
Hmm. And even when Martin Scorsese has made a casting choice that might make you think, what? At first, it actually turns out to be a wise decision, like when he cast David Bowie as Pontius Pilate in The Last Temptation of Christ. Because in that movie, David Bowie is just acting. He's not trying to be David Bowie, the singer.
Right.
I
And I
mean,
also own that. I also own the MCA home video um VHS of that film.
and I own the score for that film because my favorite singer of all time, Peter Gabriel, wrote the score.
Great score.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, with Martin Scorsese, just look at how many actors have won Oscars or been nominated for them for his films. Like almost every single one of his films.
Right.
I mean, this is the guy who, I mean, he's the one who helped turn Jodie Foster from young child star into a more mature actress.
Right.
Um,
Oh, oh, I want to mention two more of these movies because you didn't mention these. One is getting a November 11th limited release date. It's the new film from Paul Verhoeven, L.
uh, Unfortunately, I don't think that film is going to be on the Academy's radar at all because I think Paul Verhoeven kind of destroyed him, destroyed his reputation permanently with films like Showgirls.
Right, I know, but that film is receiving a has received rave reviews at the Cannes Film Festival. Like it received a standing ovation.
Right, but I think with all these other films coming out, I think it's going to get lost in the shuffle.
I hope not,
Well, I mean, we'll see.
because we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, but I mean, I think with other films from the Cannes Film Festival, I think other films like Loving and Hell or High Water, I think those films are going to have much more momentum because they took the opportunity for the praise from the praise for those movies to immediately set like a theatrical release date where they knew it would get a lot more attention.
Right. So that's so should we wrap up? Like
Well, what's the second film? You said there were two films I forgot to mention.
oh, Pedro Almodovar has a new film coming out, Julieta.
Oh, is Penelope Cruz in it?
Let me
I thought
check.
I heard she was in it.
Let me check.
Hmm.
Because I wanted to mention this film since Pedro Almodovar is directing this movie,
Right.
and it
He's
was
he's certainly an Academy favorite, that's for sure. I mean, we'll see what happens with Best Foreign Language Film because unlike last year when Son of Saul cemented itself as the front runner from the very beginning, there's no real solid front runner right now.
right. Thing as I was gonna say, I don't think it, it shows me Emma Suarez, Adriana or Igardi.
I don't recognize that name. I'll look it up when we get off of this.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well,
I think that's gonna wrap it up.
so
Wrap it
yeah,
up here.
folks, that is it. Those are all the big movies and notable movies coming out between September and December of 2016. Thank you so much for watching us if you're still with us right now, and uh, let us know what movies you're looking forward to or planning to skip. And we shall see you guys next time. Bye.
So to finish this up, I'm Nick Canino. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and stay tuned this Saturday night at 7 p.m. for the best movies, for the 10 best movies of summer 2016. Until then, I'm Nick Canino, signing out. See you later, guys.